What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back, Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, man, check it out. Check it out. Look, man, Deontay Wilder and Tank Davis. That's what we're talking about today. And I mean, everybody else is talking about it. I would like to talk more about the fights that we've been having, because it was a great weekend of fights. Savannah Marshall looked terrific in the ring. We had a terrific weekend of fights, but we got to talk about the subject at hand. Can't get away from it. I'm going to put the link in the chat real quick because this is going to be an open panel. You guys could come up here and give your thoughts on these two characters. We're going to talk about both of them. I'm pretty sure we'll spend most of the live talking about these two guys. I'm pretty sure we'll get some opposition in here. So real quick, let me give some shout outs to the peoples in the house. Neo, what's good with you, Neo? Mr. Jones in the building. Queen Lisa, hey, Queen Lisa, appreciate you coming through. Tony Boswell in the building. My brother Nick Harmer, what's up, Nick Harmer? Appreciate you. MMA champ, the GOAT, Big Dan. Let me see, Halim. What's good with you, Halim? Appreciate you coming through. Pigeon in the building. All right, we got MMA up. Neo, what's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's good? What's good? Nicholas, what's good? Tony Yates in the building. Appreciate you guys coming through. What's up, fam? What's up? Let me get some shout outs here right quick. King Unbiased, what's up, Unbiased? Appreciate you coming through. Joshua Little John. Pool Check, what's up? Pool Check, been a while. Oh, look at that. G-Man Boxing with the super chat, man. I appreciate you, G-Man. Always. Yep. Just came off of G-Man's channel. Nice live. A lot of people over there. Shout out to G-Man. If you haven't been over there, you got to get over there and check him out. G-Man Rocks. Hashtag G-Man Rocks, no doubt. All right, guys. Brick City, what's good with you? So, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I don't really care which one. What's up? What's up?
No. I was just saying, go ahead. I was agreeing with you. I was saying, indeed, let's get into it.
Yeah. I don't care which one of these guys we're going to talk about first. Deontay Wilder and his ridiculous comments, or Tank Davis and the hoax of a fight that Floyd put on. What up, Mark? My brother Mark Unrivaled. Big up.
Let's talk about Tank
first. Let's talk about Tank? Okay, let's talk about Tank. So I'm going to start this off with Tank Davis. And I'm basically just going to reiterate what I said prior to this fight. It's a hoax. It was a show. And I know there was a lot of people that had hope in them that Leo could make it to the 12th round and outscore Tank. But it was a hoax. He was sent in there to be stopped. Because as much as we appreciate Leo's chin and everything that he brought to boxing, he did those things at 118, 122, and 126. Everybody who has stepped in that ring, moving up from 126, Tank Davis has never failed to deliver us a knockout. And I knew that this would be no different. No different. And this is why I was saying before this fight, guys, that Floyd Mayweather is selling a show. We had a bunch of people coming up here arguing with me about this. Some people, which I really didn't believe, because, look, there were even boxing minds that was kind of buying into this show, this WWE event that, Floyd Mayweather and LB put together, because that's all this was, guys. A WWE event in the boxing ring. They knew damn well that Tank was going to stop Leo Santa Cruz. And then I hear people say that, Leo made a good fight. It was a good fight until the knockout. Well, let me tell you something about a good fight. When you have a fight like Sergey Lipinets versus Castillo Clayton, that's a good fight. That's a fight that goes 12 rounds. It goes to a majority draw. The fans, we don't argue with the decision. That's a good fight. When you have a guy like Leo Santa Cruz that shows you some success for 3 rounds until a brutal knockout, I don't consider that a good fight. consider you putting up a little bit of a fight in the first 3 rounds, the first quarter of a fight. You understand what I'm saying? That's not a good fight. This was inevitable that he was knocked out in that ring. So let me get some thoughts, fellas. What do y'all think about that?
I think Leo knocked him down, gave him like a really good fight, was banging with him. I think people are discrediting Leo. Oh, we knew this to happen. Like he could have really stopped Tank if it wasn't for the uppercut, and he was literally hurting Tank multiple times. Tank eye looked like he was about to close, but yeah.
He could have, but he didn't.
Yeah, I know he did. Tank has vicious power. Shout out to him for getting the win. He's a 2-division champ now.
I mean,
okay,
that's kind of the great equalizer. The coulda, wouldas kind of go out of the window whenever he shut him out. And Tank, I personally think Tank was starting to. Here's what happened. Leo was definitely the toughest thing Tank's faced so far. So for the first round or two, it was a completely different level that he's never faced before, and he was watching it. I could see him watching it a bit, and then he started coming on, and then as soon as he really came on, it was over.
Yeah, so Neo, you've been here, ever since we linked up on Punch Drunk. You've been checking me out, and I appreciate you and everything, fam. You've been over here, and you heard me say some really specific things before this fight.
Yep.
One being that you can have a great game plan. You can practice a lot of new things in the gym, and you can bring that to the table. But when a fighter gets hurt, he resorts back to what he knows best.
I got a shirt that says that shit. Tyson, everybody got a game plan till they get punched in the fucking mouth. People have been saying that forever. It's the way the fight game works. It's what you've got ingrained in you. The fight, whatever your plan is, doesn't fucking matter once you get hurt. It's gone.
That's it. It goes out of
instinct.
And so my thing is that Leo's highest success of winning, what built his record, what made him who he is a stylistic nightmare for a guy like Tank Davis.
Styles make fights.
So once he got hurt and resorted back to the Leo we know, the high punch rate guy, it wasn't going to hurt Tank.
Nope.
He got knocked out. And now for the man upstairs, or the lady, the man, whatever, you said that Leo knocked Tank down. No, he tripped him. All you have to do is go back and look at the footage. This is why the referee called it a trip and not a knockdown.
No, look at his feet, man. His feet were tied up.
His feet were
tied up.
Leo's leg was right behind Tank's, both of his legs. And he got one out the way, but he couldn't get the other one out the way. And if you watch it in slow motion, Leo was still punching that Tank while he was going down and missed that punch. So it wasn't that a punch that took him down.
If it wasn't a knockdown, why did Tank throw down Leo again to get his ego back?
That's not why he did, man. It's a fight game, and it gets intense there in the middle, like when they be getting up in them clenches and shit.
What happened was Leo was pulling the back of Tank's head down, and Tank got mad, and then he threw Leo down. Because here's the reality of it, Pigeon's dad, whatever your name. So here's the reality of it. Tank is a much stronger fighter than Leo. He was that going into this fight. So if you're going to be pulling the back of my head down, I'm a manhandle you. These are still men with egos in the ring. But if you go back and you watch the fight, after Tank pushed him down and when the ref went to warn him, Tank looked up and he told the ref, he was grabbing the back of my fucking head. He was pulling the back of my fucking head. That's what he told
he was talking to him. Yeah.
Right.
He was
so this is why
the back of his head.
Threw him down. That's why he threw him down, fam. You see what I mean? Now, that doesn't justify what Tank did. That was stupid. But my point is, Leo did not knock him down. I don't agree with a couple of people, even my guy Unbiased. Unbiased is my dude. But I don't agree that Leo buzzed it. Leo hit Tank with a lot of shots. It was like I think a 4 or 5 punch combo he hit Tank with. And Tank got frustrated. He grabbed Leo up. It was frustration why he grabbed Leo up. Because when you wrap a guy up and clinch him like that, it just stops him from throwing punches. That's it. Tank was slipping a lot of punches, but Leo just hit him with this perfect combo, and he got frustrated. But he didn't buzz Tank. He didn't buzz Tank. If you know, when you catch a guy like Tank, when you catch his respect, that's when you're gonna see a guy like Tank not just explode inside like that. This is what I was saying. Leo Santa Cruz had nothing to deter Tank going into this fight because he's never even really shown respectable power since 122. He wasn't knocking guys concussively out at 126. He was beating them to the punch. He had a higher work rate. That's not how he was winning. He didn't really show respectable power since 122. So those punches he was landing on Tank was effective, little effect.
Yeah, the best chance I really gave him for the fight was I figured that if he was gonna have a chance, he was gonna have to outwork Tank and take him to later rounds and frustrate him, which is what he was trying to do straight from the beginning. But then that shit didn't work because Tank didn't stop. And then once Tank finally got him in the corner, it was over.
Can you explain why they had it? I think it was like 5-1 Tank.
Because they were gonna. Well, look, I will explain that, which is something else.
I had it 4-2.
Yeah, well, I will explain that, and this is something else that I explained going into this fight. For all of you people that thought Leo Santa Cruz was going to win on the cards, he was going to be robbed, man. A 7-5 Leo Santa Cruz, 8-4 Leo Santa Cruz, he was going to be robbed, and those scorecards display that because there's no fucking way Tank had 5-1 rounds. I will say that. But we just got to follow boxing, okay? There's no secret that Floyd Mayweather has the power. Al Heyman is in the shadows, fam. But Floyd says things and then they happen throughout the PBC. Tank Davis is Floyd's boy, okay? That's Floyd's boy. So it's no way with the time and money that LB and Floyd has invested in Tank that they were going to let Leo pull off some close unanimous decision. He was going to be robbed if he got in there. If he got in there, he would have been robbed on the scorecards. That's why you've seen that faulty scorecard of 5-1. Because what does that tell you if it would have went to 12? Leo would essentially have to have won every single round after the 6. Because that idiotic judge had him 5-1 for Tank.
Yeah,
they were going to rob him, fam.
That was some Julie Letterman shit. That's like my new after the Loma. After the Lomachenko fight, that's my new thing. Is whenever you got a card like that, I'm like, that's a Julie fucking Letterman card right there. She was the one that had it 119, 110.
Yeah, right. And it makes no sense because these guys get in there, they go through those camps, they work their ass off, and then some fucking Yahoo judge comes in here and take it all away from them. That makes no sense, man. I can't stand to see ridiculousness like that. But I was never one to believe that Tank Davis was ever going to win. I mean, I'm sorry, Leo Santa Cruz was ever going to win. I was saying that, a lot of people, I think it was, shout out to my man, Glenn Avery, but he kept telling me that, you never know. Leo could go 12 rounds. And I told him, I said, I am 99% sure that Leo does not see the end of the 12th round. And I said, as a matter of fact, I'm telling everyone it won't go half that because Tank is going to knock him out in the 6th round. Well, coincidentally, Tank knocked him out in the 6th round.
I think Tank's power builds him up.
I think Tank's power could be overrated. Here's why I say that. Tank Davis has not been challenged in the ring. He's not been challenged in the ring with high-level competition. He's knocked out guys impressively. He's sitting at 130, and they're coming up from 126. What happens when he get in there with a guy that can actually take a punch will give him more back than a 126-pounder? What happens to all of this concussive power when you get in there with a guy who can actually eat a shot? We can't expect a 135-pound champion, which is what Tank was going into that fight, whether he fought at 130 or not. It was 2 belts on the line, and he was the only 135-pound champion in that ring, right? So we can't expect a guy, whether he's not been stopped by 126 and 122-pounders, we can't expect a guy to stand up to that kind of power moving up. We can't. So what is going to happen when Tank gets in there like, with a Teofimo Lopez who can take a punch, Devin Haney who can take a punch, Ryan Garcia we don't know yet because he's never really ate ate any real shots. But what happens when Tank gets in there with someone like that, but they can also give him something that can hurt him as well? See, these guys coming up from 126, they had nothing to give to Tank. He wasn't worried about their shots. This is why, look at, you see that strawberry under his eye? He wasn't worried about Leo's shots. Leo might have swole his eye up, but he didn't put Tank in any danger.
Right, and also here about the comment about Tank's power, kind of protecting him a little bit. Even if it does, it doesn't matter because he still gets the wins, and that's even saying. D here can vouch. In our last couple conversations we've been having over the last couple nights, I've usually been the one saying that I worry about the fighters when they've just got that one tool and that's what their thing is, like your Wilders and all that. I'm like, what's gonna or Roy Jones back in the day. I'm like, what's gonna happen when that natural talent you've got starts wearing off? But right now, when he's a young kid, it doesn't fucking matter if his power bails him out because it's bailing him out every time. Now, later on, it might catch up to his ass, but right now, it's irrelevant.
Facts. And
win is a win.
Now, I will say this. I don't really sleep on Tank Davis's skills because here's the thing. Tank is not doing anything to improve his skills, to take his skills to the next level. Because to do that in the fight game, whether it be boxing or MMA or Muay Thai or whatever, when you're in the fight game, to improve your skills, you have to be tested. You have to go through attrition. You have to be pushed. Tank Davis has never been in a fight where we didn't pretty much know he was going to win.
Right. He hasn't been. This was supposed to be the one where he was, and look what happened. Where we before the fight, that was what I was saying. What I was interested to see was we got a fighter who was coming up and a fighter who's coming down as far as prime goes. Like Leo's coming out of it was coming like at the end of his prime years. Like, usually when you're 33, 34, 32, that's when you start kind of coming down. And Tank is just coming in. And I wanted to see what Tank had that we hadn't seen and what Leo had left in the tank. And I still think we haven't seen the best from Tank.
My problem is, Neo, is that we weren't going to see what Tank has to offer against the Leo Santa Cruz. And this is what I kept telling everybody. This is not the guy to push Tank to that level. They were building this fight up like Leo's going to take him in the deep waters and all of this dumb shit. No, he's not the guy to take Tank in the deep waters. And Alistair, pay attention to the UFC because you don't know shit about boxing, and I keep telling you this. Because Tank beat up a 130-pounder, does not mean he's now the best lightweight in the world. Get it straight. Teofimo Lopez easily is the best lightweight in the world, Alistair. A win over a Leo Santa Cruz coming up from 26, Alistair, does not make you the best lightweight in the world. Okay? It doesn't even make him the best junior lightweight in the world because Leo Santa Cruz just came from 126 and won his belt off of a Miguel Flores. How about Tank goes and fights a Shakur Stevenson? That would prove something.
That's the fight I want to see right now.
A Miguel Burchell. That would prove something. But beating up a Leo Santa Cruz coming up, Alistair, does not justify him taking over Teofimo reign as king. So stop it. Because you're on the right fucking live with that bullshit. Stop.
Is Teo a 2-division champ?
Listen, Teo is a lineal champ. Is Tank a lineal champ? You want to go back and forth with what Tank is and what Teo is? Teo's a lineal champ. Is Tank a lineal champ?
No, he's not.
Teo's a Ring Magazine champion. Is Tank a Ring Magazine champion?
But is Teo a 2-division
hold on. Let's go back and forth because you just said 2 division. Teo unified 3 belts. Tank unified 3 belts. You want to go back and forth with this? Teo has only 16 fights, and Tank hasn't accomplished that in 25 fights. Do you still want to go back and forth with this? Trust and believe Tank ain't shit, fam, because his best fight is Pedraza to this point. Pedraza does not compare to Lomachenko, who beat the shit out of Pedraza.
Tank has more knockouts than Teo. He's stronger than Teo.
Pitcher's dad, let me explain something to you. Knocking out guys from 126 does not make you stronger than a guy who's knocking out guys at 135. Get it straight. He's knocking out guys at 126, and you're going to tell me he has more power to a guy who's clearly probably draining to get to 135. What fucking kind of power do you think Teofimo's going to have when he moves up to 140, and he's more comfortable and healthier there. Tank Davis' power has not really been proven yet. Teofimo is extremely proven.
Tank knocked out a 4-division champ. Leo knocked out a bum Magdaleno and a Comey who's really like overrated. He's not really that good of a fighter.
Dude, Tank knocked out a 4-division champ. Now let's look at these divisions: 118, 122, and 126. Now, if you don't know this, Pigeon's dad, he got the 130 belt from a Miguel Flores in a vacant title fight, which he didn't knock out. He did knock out Flores at 130. This is the Leo Santa Cruz, the 4-division champion. And that 4-division champion, essentially, who stepped up from 126, what just happened to him, Pigeon's dad? Right. He was sleep.
Right, and he's way fucking smaller than Tio. Like Leo, what the hell do you think would have happened if Leo fought Tio?
Why are you trying to diminish his accomplishments?
Because it's not an accomplishment. And I'm not trying to diminish this after the fight. If you were here, I've been diminishing this before that fight ever started. I said it was a hoax, man.
It's all relative. It's all relative when you look at the rap sheets. And take out the hype train. What D's saying makes sense. He's on the shit. It's all you got to think about the relative sizes and their power. I'm not saying Tank doesn't have power. D's not saying Tank doesn't have power. What he's saying is that he's not going to fucking knock out a 135 pounder. A natural Tio should probably be at 140 or plus right now.
He should at 140 right now.
Tank ain't going to have shit on that. He'll get knocked the fuck out because he's too small. He's got power for his size. Sure. He's dangerous. But don't put him in there against a bigger man and think he's going to fucking rock him, because it's going to be just like what's happening with Lomachenko right now. It's going to be, here's the funny thing. You're talking about Leo Santa Cruz. What's going to happen to Tank if he tries to go up against Tio is going to be the exact same shit that happened to Leo when he came up too far. He outpaced himself. His size.
Tio knocked out a guy who lost to a bum. Coleman.
What guy? Wait. Let me
come on.
Hold on, Neo. What guy? You talking about Coleman?
Yeah, Coleman lost to a bum.
Who's the bum you're talking about?
I'll show you right now.
Well, look, let me clear it up for you. You're probably talking about Robert Easter, but I'm sure that you don't know anything about that fight, because a lot of people believe that Richard Coleman was robbed in that fight. But I'm sure you didn't know that. So he may have lost to this bum in a questionable decision. But here's the thing. What did he go on to become? A champion. He went on to become a champion. And see, let me tell you something, Pigeons, that when you move up in weight, so does your punch resistance. So guys at 126, punch resistance is not like guys at 135.
Exactly.
That's why you have weight classes for a reason. And this is why I'm saying Tank's power is questionable, because his 96% knockout ratio is really only accounted for 2 guys over 126, which is Gamboa and Pedraza. The rest of them were smaller guys. You understand this?
The best way to really put it is that his power is questionable at his weight. It's questionable where he is right now and where he's looking to go.
And then
that's
you call
the
Easter
best way to really look at it.
And then he calls Easter a bum. Unbiased, you're right. Do you realize this is a former champion that you're calling a bum?
I wasn't talking about Easter, actually.
Okay, well who was you talking about?
Call me.
Dennis.
Yeah, but he said he got beaten by a bum. What's
the other guy, Dennis.
What's this? Who?
Dennis. He's from Russia. Some bum, random bum.
How much do you know about this sport, man? I mean, let's be honest. Do you know about these guys that you're just calling bum?
Do you know who he is?
I know who most of these fighters are. But what I'm asking you right now is how much do you know about this sport? It's easy to call a guy a bum if you don't know much about him. It's easy to do that. But how much do you know about these guys? If you
I'm
want a
asking
boxing
you,
lesson, just
do
sit
you
back and
know who
listen.
he is?
Listen. I know who most of these guys are. This is what I'm telling you. Yes, I know who he is. But what I'm asking you is, you're running around telling me I'm trying to diminish something. When I set this stage before the fight, see, I think this is your first time up here, but I have set this stage long before this fight happened. I was telling everyone, listen here, man. Floyd Mayweather is trying to sell us a hoax. He's trying to sell us a WWE event. He's trying to make this appear as it's a competitive fight. But the reality is, Tank is going to knock Leo Santa Cruz out the way he's knocked everybody else out that have come up from 126. I set the stage for
And
this.
somebody
So
in
it's
the
not,
chat
hold
said,
on. So it's not like I'm changing anything I said. And I also, Pigeon's dad, picked the 6th round for Tank to do it. So it's no coincidence. I'm not psychic. If you know anything about the sport, you would have known that Floyd was selling you a hoax,
okay,
a
but
bullshit fight, a WWE
The
event.
predicting king. Shout out to D, the prediction king. I think he does witchcraft. That's why he gets all these fights that nobody gets right. He got the
so
Tyson Fury.
wait, somebody in the chat
He
said Dennis is not a
got
bum.
small when
He
nobody else
lost
has,
to
and he
a
got the
Dennis
Leo
lost to
Santa
a
Cruz.
guy with 8 losses.
I think D be doing some witchcraft, low key. There's no way you could predict all those fights without getting anything wrong with D. Tell us your secret, D.
The secret is, bro, just studying what goes on in the ring, and it's not really. It's like a educated guess most of the time, because you look at these guys, you look at what they bring to the table, you look at the former opponents and what they've accomplished, right, and who they accomplished it against, and then you can pretty much tell yourself who's going to win these fights. You know, when you have a guy
I'm just
like Leo
joking,
Santa, yeah, when you have a guy like Leo Santa Cruz, let's be honest here. You have a guy like Leo Santa Cruz who does have a high work rate. I never took that away from him. But what I kept saying is, a guy like Tank Davis, you have to give him something to keep him off of you. Good body shots, good shots to the face. Leo Santa Cruz landed some solid body shots. That didn't deter Tank. It didn't deter
You
Yes,
know
it
him
what
at
it is,
did.
all.
D?
Yes, it did.
Everybody knew Leo was gonna lose. I was looking at the prediction league or whatever. Everybody had Davis. Everybody knew that Leo was gonna lose. But I think you're right that Mayweather, you gotta give him credit, even though I don't like it. He knows how to sell fucking fights. He knows how to sell fights. That's what he does.
He's a
And I'm,
promoter. He promoted himself.
you're right.
Exactly.
And I'm afraid that from now on, that's all we're gonna see Tank do. He's gonna put him in fights where he knows he's gonna win, and the show how he promotes things. People are gonna wanna click in just to see him knock somebody out because people like that. People like seeing people getting knocked out. I'm not gonna lie. When I
Yeah.
got knocked out, I was like, "Damn, Leo got
You
knocked the fuck out."
you
So
can
Floyd May-
manufacture a record.
I'll be surprised if Floyd and Tank, if Floyd puts him in there in a 50-50 fight. A 50-50 fight, it's like somebody like him against Teofimo, him against Haney, him against Shakur, him against Loma. I don't think Tank is fighting any guys like that.
Right. You
Anytime
can
soon.
manufacture a record. That's exactly what's happening here. You can manufacture that record where the people who aren't paying attention to what's on that record will go, "Oh man, look, they're undefeated. They've been, nobody can touch them." That's what's happening here. Happened with
And
Wilder.
it's just not the undefeated thing. Like I said, it's also the knockouts, like the way he knocks people out.
Yeah.
The Mayweather's on there in the video. So it's just like a whole show. He comes out with the Mexican colors. Like, it's like a whole show that they're gonna keep on
It's
doing.
a
At least
like D said, it's a WWE
Tank
fucking
is
match.
tailor
It's a
made for him.
WWE event, bro. They knew that this guy was gonna listen. When Vince McMahon of the WWE, he talks to these two wrestlers behind the scenes. He said, "Okay, we're gonna have this guy win this one." They know this, so they do on the theatrics and act like they're really hurt. And then the guy that was supposed to win pins the guy, and then the fans go crazy. And he's been selling this successfully for years. Well, Floyd Mayweather said, I could do that in boxing. I could do that with this guy, Tank Davis. Let me build up these fights and make them look interesting. I already know Tank's going to beat the shit out of him. He's going to knock them out. But let me make them look interesting and sell them to the crowd. And Leonard Ellaby has been validating this because he said, we are making a pay-per-view star. He never said we're making a legend. He never said we're trying to get him into the Hall of Fame. He never said that he's going to be an all-time great. Ellaby consistently says, we're making Tank a star. Okay? So pay-per-view was always the agenda with Tank Davis. Him competing, him achieving, him accomplishing, him testing himself, that was never the agenda. The agenda was always to make him a pay-per-view star. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather and Ellaby. They've done a hell of a job at doing that. But that's all he is a pay-per-view star. He is not a top-level fighter. And for all of you fucking Tank Davis fans that think so, the first time he gets in the ring where he's actually going to be tested, he will be taking the distance. And I'm pretty sure he will either lose on the cards or he will get his little ass knocked out because he has truly never been wobbled. He's truly never been hurt. But when it happens, what is he going to resort to? Because he's not doing anything to bring his skills up. The only thing he's going to resort to is trying to land that one hard uppercut. But when that guy takes that punch and you don't get what you want, then what are you going to do, Tank? Lose. That's what you're going to do. Lose.
Hell, man, all they needed was for Tank to be coming out to the ring going, ooh, yeah.
All right, man, the Macho Man. There you go. That's what they need.
Bonesaw is ready.
It makes no
Tank
sense,
has
man.
accomplished more than Tio. He knocked out Tio, has more power than Tio.
You're gonna fucking knock out Tio?
Tio is a hype job, man.
Bro, why are you whispering? Is that how you talk? Like, no, I'm not talking shit, but I'm just.
That's how he talk. But listen,
oh, my bad, bro.
Pigeon's dad, I don't know where you're from, but I like to have reasonable conversations up here. Okay, one thing you cannot do is call a guy who just beat a guy that was in the top 3 pound for pound, who just collected 5 belts, a fucking hype job in 16 fights. One thing you cannot do is call him a hype job. You must be from that idiot He Knows His Sports channel. Okay, you must be from over there, from this fucking moron's channel. Because he's the only one that I know of around YouTube that's calling this guy a hype job. Now, this is what I want you to do, Pigeons Dad. Over there and tell that goofy glasses wearing dude to come click this link like you did and try to back up his statements. Because you're not doing a good job of it. I'll tell you that right now. You're not doing a good job. This kid is far from a hype job. He's 135-pound king. And I'm pretty sure you're the only one in this chat and in the panel, on the panel, that believes Teofimo Lopez is a hype job. You must be kidding me. You must be kidding me.
By Loma in the later rounds, it was a draw in a lot of people's eyes, but supposedly they're wrong for thinking it's a draw. Mark and rival, L-Dog, credible people like that have it a draw.
Okay. Look,
oh, nah, I know. He's from the. Hold on. He's MMA champ. He's MMA champ.
Yeah, he is MMA champ.
Okay, whatever. But let me tell you this right now. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You cannot sit up here and lie. And I'm gonna tell you a clear lie you just told when you mentioned Mark Unrivaled. Okay, because Mark Unrivaled and myself, we did this fight together. Okay,
IBT.
And hold on. And when we did this fight together, Pigeon's dad, we came up with the same conclusion. Teofimo won the fight. So you can't get up here and lie and say Mark thought it was a draw. Because now you're lying on Unrivaled.
No,
and I know that you're lying because we did blow by blow commentary together. So stop your foolishness, man. Stop.
Mark said it in the stream, though. He said he thought it was a draw.
Okay, well, enough. What's up, IBT?
Are you hearing this shit, man?
Yeah. I mean, I wish Mark would have came up here. If he does come up here, he'll just shut that dumb shit down. What's up, IBT? All right, something must be wrong with his mic. But anyway, man.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, dude, what's up with Wilder? I was working all day yesterday, so I haven't got a chance to hear the thing. What's going on? He came out and he got some evidence or what?
Well, let's dig into this. So first, no, they don't have any
Here we
proof.
go.
They don't have any proof at all. Because the facts are this. If they had proof, somebody would be going to jail right now. That's number one. Because that's either one you want to call it, attempted manslaughter, attempted murder. That's exactly what that would be. Okay, number two, Wilder also, Jose, admitted that he ducked Joshua. In his ridiculous statement, he admitted basically that he ducked Joshua. because he said to Fury,
Yep.
Oh,
that I decided to fight you and give you a chance instead of fighting Joshua. So you're telling us you decided to fight Fury instead of go for 4-belt undisputed, you idiot.
But
That's
Fury's
what
a
Wilder did.
better fighter
Not only that, he actually said he was offered more money for Joshua fight. He said I could have gone for more money, but instead I went against Fury. So yeah.
Wilder and his team offered AJ 50 million. AJ
No, look,
AJ
Pigeon.
Duffy.
Pigeon.
Hey,
I'm really getting ready to have to kick you
just
off
quick
this
question,
live, bro.
B. Quick question:
Yeah,
is that
go
like an
ahead.
actual interview, or is people putting out videos, or he actually said that
No.
on his own?
This
No,
was
he came
Wilder.
out.
This was Wilder himself, Jose, saying this.
Yeah,
Wilder
on Twitter.
put out a video himself. This is all Wilder
Like a
talking.
dumbass.
Right. This is not anybody, no speculation. This is not an article. This is Wilder putting up a stupid video himself saying this dumb shit.
Yeah, he didn't clear that with his publicity team clearly, because they would have told him to shut that shit down and don't say that. Especially if he's got all this evidence and shit that he's talking about. You don't say shit publicly, you save that shit for court. And he's gonna be lucky. I'm calling it now. He's gonna be lucky if he gets out of this year, if he gets to the new year without having 4 or 5 libel cases against him from Fury's team, from Mark Breeland. And that's the part that killed me, was he threw Mark Breeland under the bus and said that Breeland doped his water. Breeland is a fucking gold medal champion, dude, who's been in Wilder's corner forever. Why the fuck would he dope his water? What kind of fucking sense does that make?
Right.
That was absolute disrespect. That was when I completely lost any sense of respect for him. Because this man used to be one of my favorite active boxers, but now, fuck that shit. Because you throw the man that's been in your corner, the most important man in your fucking camp. First of all, you kick him out. Then you throw him under the bus in a way that could fuck him over for the rest of his career. Because if he's dope, if people buy that he's doping water, who the fuck is going to want to work with him? That's bullshit.
But it would have been proven too. Any toxicology report. Listen, if Wilder had anything in his system to dope him, when he went to the hospital and they drew blood, because they definitely drew blood, they would have been like, wait, he has something foreign in the system. And this probably wouldn't have been good for him to be fighting on. But none of that came about. None of that came about.
And that's what that Tony guy in the earlier chat. That Tony guy in the earlier chat was. Hold on, just a sec. That Tony guy in the earlier chat was saying, because he does he does like biological. He said he had a master's degree in that shit, and that would be in his piss still after the fight if he had been doped in his water, and they would have caught that. They didn't catch shit because it would have metabolized through his kidneys and everything. But no dice. Anyway, sorry. What was you saying?
No, I was just gonna say. So he fired Breeland, according to Wilder. Where you guys are saying that he said that he had the loaded gloves or whatever. So he should be thanking him because he saved his life, right?
Exactly. 100%. Breeland saved his fucking life. But these people don't want to get out the ring unless they turn into the next Abdul Salamov and have to get carried out to the fucking hospital with a brain bleed. If that's not the way the fight ends, they're not happy.
There's literally
and wasn't the other guy at the watching?
Go ahead, pick
There's literally proof that Mark Breeland doped Wilder's drink.
No, there's no proof, fam.
Yes, there is. Mark Breeland is a known.
Okay, that's a troll. You're gonna have to kick him.
Dude, we're talking, man. Mark fucking Breeland.
Don't worry about it. No worries, guys. No worries.
I'm not worried. It's just ridiculous.
Hey, can I just say something before I leave the channel?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rapstar. Go ahead.
D. Jefferson, you're a real one. You told me yesterday that it's going to be a 6-round knockout. Are you Nostradamus or what?
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Let's call D out.
Right? What the
D.
fuck,
Jefferson told everybody it's going to be a 6-round knockout.
He put everybody on notice with that shit.
Guys, stop his ego. He's getting huge.
Yeah, I gotta give him that ego because he told me twice to put that money on, and I didn't put it on that round, bro.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. D missed a pick.
Yeah, D. Jefferson told me twice. Put it on the 6-round knockout.
Yeah, I did miss. We had 15 fights yesterday. I did miss one. I picked Magdaleno to beat Cruz, and Cruz. Shout out to Cruz. because he did a great job. He beat Magdaleno. But outside of that, I picked every other fight right and the right method. Every fight.
Hey, next time I need to know before I bet, D. I gotta touch with you. I'm gonna give you a percentage. We're gonna see if it comes real next time. All right.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, Rapstar. That wasn't the only fight I hit. I hit Camboso Jr. on the split decision. I hit Usyk on the majority decision. I hit Savannah Marshall 7th round knockout exactly.
Okay, we're gonna do live bets with D Jefferson on the next fight. I don't mind doing live bets, and we're just gonna put it out there, D. But I'm gonna give you the money to bet for me for the next fight.
Hey, do your thing, man. I
don't care if you lose, bro, but you got more chance of winning at the moment than me.
I won't be no loss. You're gonna collect some paper, fam. I got like 8 gamblers from Pub Sports. I give them picks every week, and they love it.
I
man.
bet on the 9th round. D, I bet on the 9th round knockout Tank. That's what I bet on. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know,
but
yeah, respect D. Everybody needs to listen to D, bro. He got the fights right lately. He's been getting them right. You know what I mean? And once you start getting them wrong, they're gonna start hating on you as well, D.
That's all right. They ain't never gonna hate on me because I'm at a good 89% or better. So they ain't gonna have too much room to hate, fam.
Hey D, before my battery's low, but is it true that Deontay Wilder made a statement? If he had a legal case, by him making that statement shows that he doesn't have anything legal to go in court.
That's true.
Is that true?
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. Very
he just
true.
fucked himself. Even if he did have evidence, he just fucked himself by going public. You
So
never
that's
say
fake,
shit in public.
That's fake. Then he's just making all these people gas for another 6 months.
Yeah,
he's
and
desperate. He's
yeah,
desperate. He's grasping for straws. He has no leverage or any kind of fucking play anymore. He has no pull. He has to do something. He's literally jumping at the sky, screaming help.
And
like
he's gonna be lucky. He's gonna be lucky if he gets out of this year without a bunch of libel cases against his ass. He's gonna end up broke.
Well, I'm from England, and somebody in England's already saying that I'm not going to mention names, but they're saying you better get ready for Tyson Fury to sue Deontay Wilder for slandering soon.
Yep, libel slander. That's exactly what it's gonna be.
Mayweather got sued by Pacquiao. Remember this: Mayweather's got sued by Pacquiao, and it's all on the It's all on the internet. He had to pay 200-something thousand to Pacquiao for stop accusing Pacquiao of taking steroids. Remember this.
Damn.
Yeah.
I bet you Wilder gets sued for a lot more than that because he's incriminating multiple people with this shit.
Yeah. Mark Breeland could sue him. Fury could sue him.
Mark fucking Breeland, man. I still can't believe that man. This dude was saying Tio was a hype job and Breeland is a cheater.
That dude's a troll, man. Don't pay him. He's 14 years old, man. He does that shit all the time.
Some people are saying that Mark Breeland had to sign the non-disclosure and take his money to get out of the contract, and he had to sign an NDA. That's what I heard.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, look, I don't get the extreme disrespect for like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I have tremendous respect for Mark Breeland. He's probably from one of the best American teams, American Olympic teams ever. You know what I mean? That Olympic team was tremendous, like super stacked. Yeah. He's been with Wilders for a long time in his career. He's the reason why Wilder's at world level. He's the reason why there's even people going out there saying he's got a beautiful 1-2. That's all Mark Breeland. That's all Mark Breeland.
Absolutely.
And to me, you're saying he threw him under the bus. I don't even think that's appropriate. If somehow he could, I think he threw him in front of an airplane. Like that's legitimately what he's done. He's lost one fight.
He threw him in the fucking engine.
The dude saved his life, and he just threw him into the engine of an airplane. Like, what's wrong with you? What an absolute idiot!
And he had venom. He didn't just say a disloyal trainer. He said he had to pause himself because he was fucking like he had so much rage. Like, how can you not show love for him like he showed love for you, man? He's the only dude that truly gave a fuck about you.
Right. I swear back in the day wait, go ahead, D.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, here's the thing with this too, and I said it on Punch Drunks Live. If you guys feel like you have some type of proof and you really believe that your water was dope and Fury had egg weights in his gloves, then that means that Breeland literally did save your life. He saved your life because you would have been continued to get beat on with egg weights and drugged up. So he literally saved their life. So how can you be mad at that? That daughter that you have, that you said was the only reason you ever boxed, you want to die and leave her? This is what you're telling us? Like, it makes no sense. Lance Myers, what's up with you, Lance Myers?
What's going on, D?
Same old, brother. What you got to say about these guys? Either one, take your pick. Tank Davis or freaking Deontay Wilder. They're both.
Oh, man. I just wanted to say congratulations on your pick this weekend. I figured I'd try to jump on the panel because I heard you talking, what you were talking about, the, Leo Santa Cruz and Gervonta Tank Davis fight, which I respect that. And there's something to be said for that. I don't know if I was the only one that was holding on to the idea that, Leo Santa Cruz might possibly be able to escape that fight without the knockout.
Nah, you weren't the only one. No, not even close. I was on Black and Brown's live, and was
I remember
3 or 4 people on there that picked Leo to win, and I'm like, bro, are y'all insane?
I guess I just thought his ring IQ might lead to the ability to adapt, but the way that he does leave his chin out there when he's throwing shots and he doesn't get his head off the line, that was classic, and we've seen that with the Gervonta Davis uppercut that he said that he's been working on.
Right. I mean, it's just it fits right into Tank Davis's game, man.
It just throws me off, like how spot on you were this weekend, though, bro. Like that really does throw me off.
But I gotta tell you, I watched the highlights again after Deontay Wilder started making excuses. If Mark Breeland didn't save him in that round where he saved him, Deontay Wilder wouldn't be in the same situation today to be in another fight.
Nah, he would have been in the hospital with a fucking brain bleed. We've seen it happen multiple times. How many fighters died last year?
Right.
3 of them. Patrick Day, Hugo Santaline, and Maxim Dadashov. R.I.P. Man.
God bless. Yeah. God bless.
And I don't know if you guys saw, but recently, who was it? Alex Alcedo. He had to retire at 26 years old. Man, he had a fight with Arnold Barboza.
I just heard that.
Yeah.
Fucking. What about Bradley back in the day? After that Provodnikov fight, he was never the same. That fight fucking ruined him.
Right?
This is a brutal sport, man. And people have to start respecting. That's why Rapstar, when you came on to shout out to Rapstar, he came on the BDA panel, and he got a little upset about guys, calling these guys bums, and that's why I always try to restrict myself from calling them bums and just put out there.
Hell no.
They were calling them trash cans.
No, nobody who gets in that ring is a fucking bum.
Right.
Just on the fact that they got in that fucking ring. Exactly.
They're risking their lives and stuff. So you can't be calling these guys like it's just unfair to call them bums. Like, let's call them low-level fighters. If they're everybody's not the greatest.
That's why they have different levels.
Cool. At the end of the day, it's cool to call them low-level fighters, right? But to call them bums and tomato cans and trash cans and all of that, I mean, that's kind of extreme. So, but to each his own, because again, in the defense of the people that do say bums, because there is a defense for them. You have other fighters that use that word that popularized it. Now, these were actual fighters that were in the ring and they knew what it took to compete, but they were still calling these guys bums. So they popularized the phrase. Yeah. And so as boxing fans, when you use the phrase, you're basically mimicking what the fighters call each other, right? So, I mean, but to each his own. I prefer not to disrespect these guys because they put their life in danger every time they step in there. Right.
But the reason why fighters use those words, they get into each other's heads psychologically. Some of the fighters, they like to get into fighters' heads. If you remember, Antonio Tarver, he was calling Roy Jones a bum just to get to Roy Jones psychologically. And do you remember when the bell started? He said, "You got any excuses, Roy?" That's because a fighter will do what it takes to discriminate another fighter sometimes.
I swear most of the young kids that be saying that shit nowadays probably got it from fucking Mickey on Rocky. He's a bum.
Yeah. What's up, best of the best? What's good with you, fam?
What it do, dude? What's good, man? Look, I was riding around out there because I had to go find some smoke real quick, and I was listening to your show while I was riding around handling some business real quick.
But some cool.
Man, look, check this out. I'm listening to y'all, man, and I said I gotta go sit and settle the fuck down. I'm rushing. I just thought the motherfucker see me running the red light trying to get to your motherfucking show. Real shit, right? Look, but check this out. Check this out. Listen, the dude keep coming on there. First of all, D, you might be wasting your time conversating with that guy that y'all can't really hear. That's just saying anything. I'm thinking that I think he's messing with y'all.
Yeah, he's gone a long time ago.
Yeah, because listen, if for anybody that can't understand this weight class situation as far as and see that Leo Santa Cruz, not understand what you say, Leo Santa Cruz was not causing no damage, knocking nobody out at 126 pounds. And then the biggest question of them all you got to ask is, who did Leo Santa Cruz knock out or beat up that make you feel like he could go to 130 and beat Tank? Who has he ever beat that make anybody think that he could go to 130 and beat Tank? You know, it's just like it's so easy to like look at. I was looking at his fights. I tried to look at like 6 fights of Leo Santa Cruz before him and Tank this fought. It wasn't nothing I could find. I couldn't find nothing to say. Yeah, he might give. What make anybody think that he wasn't going to survive? That's why I came on your show like 3 days ago. I said Tank gonna knock him out in 3 to 7 rounds. He is a tailor-made opponent to be knocked out by Tank. It is a show like y'all saying right now. It's wrestling. It's like wrestling. It's like the WWE. Floyd do know what he doing on that kind of shit. And I'm just glad to see that so many people now, a lot of y'all that is speaking and understanding what D's saying, and y'all with D with what he's saying, I'm glad that a lot of y'all starting to see that shit. Because a lot of people ain't see that shit that Floyd been doing. And it's good to see that it's a lot of people starting to open up to that
smoke
shit.
And mirrors.
Hold up. What the fuck is a lot of smoke and mirrors? That's right.
Bro, this dude just came out and said, is Ryan Garcia next and then Teofimo? I bet you any money that's a lie. I bet you any money that's a big, big lie. He said it's Ryan Garcia next and then it's Teofimo. Now the Ryan Garcia fight should be easy to make because Ryan Garcia is calling out Tank, right? But no, it's not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. And he damn sure not putting Tank in the ring with Teofimo because I don't care how many Tank fans believe that he has a chance against Teofimo. One thing about it, and I said this earlier on Punch Drunks Live, Floyd Mayweather in the ring was as smart as damn near anyone who graced that ring. This dude, his IQ was on
absolutely.
So if I can see these fights and see who would win, then he can see these fights much better than D. Jefferson and know who's going to win or who's going to lose. He's not going to put Tank in any danger. And my backup on that is that he's never done it his entire career. He's never put Tank in any danger. So why the fuck would he stick him in there with a Teofimo Lopez? If y'all believe Floyd, thinking that he's going to lead Tank to a Teofimo Lopez situation, and you might have believed that he was going to ever put him in the ring with Lomachenko. Did that ever happen? No, sir. Don't buy the hype. I'm telling you now, don't buy it.
Right. And see, here's another thing is that one thing a lot of people really don't think about that they got to start thinking about is that when it gets to a certain point with these weight classes, it's not about experience. It's not about talent. It eventually just becomes about flat out physics. You don't have the mass behind your punches to knock out that bigger man. It's not going to happen, period. It doesn't even matter if you're even close, like frame-wise. You just don't have it. It's physics at that point, and you cannot get over that. And it just doesn't work.
The resistance becomes diminished at an exponential rate.
Exactly.
When somebody that much bigger than you, then even if you have a good chin or you have sturdiness, it's not going to hold up to that challenge, man.
Right. That's what happens to these people. They keep trying to go up weight classes thinking they're going to be invincible as they keep going up, thinking they'll be able to be a Pacquiao or like that. And it just doesn't fucking happen.
Shit changes.
Here's how I feel about it. If they fight, if he and Tank next fight, you want to fight somebody, you want to impress me as a hardcore fan and fight somebody from 126 pounds, fight Gary Russell. Fight Gary Russell. Gary Russell talking about you, talking about he used to be at the gym and he used to beat the shit out dudes in the gym and the coach know about him and you a little boy Tank know about me. He a little kid. Shorty ain't ready for me. How you let somebody talk about you like that and just sit in the teleworld some shit like that about you, but you won't fight him? Why you won't fight Gary Russell if you want to fight 126 pounds?
Yeah, fight Russell. Like I heard
respect
Gary
Russell's
Russell
his easiest
calling him
fight.
out.
Russell's his easiest fight though, D. Because if he looks at a 135, he's got serious killers in that weight, bro.
He's a small fish in a big pond at that point.
No,
They're
I
way
think
fucking
Russell-
bigger than him.
I would give Tank. Let me say this. I would actually give Tank credit for Gary Russell.
Right.
How would you win that
Gary
fight?
Russell,
Does he win that fight, D?
I don't know, man. And I'm being serious.
That's why it's a
Y'all
good
know.
fight, because you don't know.
If I
Come
could
on,
just
D,
jump
you
in.
can break that
That's
down,
Look,
man.
look, check it
Tank's
out.
not
I'll
gonna
give it
respect
look at
Gary's
this.
jab.
Fight.
Tank's not gonna respect Gary's
fellas.
straight.
One at a time. Hold on. I'll give y'all this. I'm pretty sure that I would pick Tank to win that fight. But this fight is interesting because Gary Russell brings something to the table that Leo Santa Cruz didn't bring to the table, in my opinion. Gary Russell can stun Tank. He has something to get his attention. He has something to deter him. And this is what I'm saying. It has to be a fighter that has something to deter Tank. My problem with Gary Russell and why I would most likely pick Tank, is his hands are brittle. This is why he doesn't fight much. So can you keep giving Tank enough before getting caught by something, right? And I'm not too sure of that.
I got Tank knocking Gary Russell the fuck out. I got
That's
Tank
a tough
knocking
fight.
Gary
That's a
Russell the
great
fuck
fight.
out. But I give that fight a pass.
Right. So for when it comes to Tank, right, at 130, right. So first off, for me, I don't know about anybody else on the panel, but for me, and peace to the panel, right? Peace to the panel in the chat. I don't think that Tank is a real lightweight, right? That whole foray into 135 was because he ate himself out of 130, right? It's not because he's really a lightweight, right? So the best Tank is at 130, and when it comes to being at 130. If you were to survey the entire landscape, right, you'd have like Shakur, Burchell, maybe Loma, JoJo, maybe Farmer, and Gary Russell Jr. Right?
Where's Josh Warrington? Where's my fighter from England?
Let me
hold on, Rapstar. Hold on, let him finish.
He's not a 130 pounder.
I'm just saying, just possible, right? I'm just over the next all the names. Gary Russell talking about moving up, but all those other dudes are 130 pounders, right? And some guys have been linked to Tank and all this stuff. Those are all of the fights, right? Dude's 25 years old, right? So let's say he fought all those dudes back to back. What is he supposed to do with the rest of his career, right? That's just like when we encapsulate these guys, when we're talking about these guys and the fights that we like to see, I think we also need to take into account that they have the time frame that we're talking about seeing these fights and what they're supposed to do after that, right? Just as fans, to me, it makes sense. I think Shakur gives him a hell of a fight. I think he beats the shit out of Burchell, but he's got a punch a chance. I think Loma is a good fight. I think he beats the shit out of JoJo, and I think he beats the shit out of Farmer. Yeah. And just to put Leo Santa Cruz in the place of Tank. I think Leo Santa Cruz gets beat by Burchell, but I think he beats JoJo. I think Leo Santa Cruz beats Farmer. I don't think Leo Santa Cruz is just some complete walk in the park at 130 just because he can't beat Tank. I think he can do some damage.
No, he could be a journeyman
at 130.
I don't think Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo Santa Cruz gets knocked the fuck out at 130 by all the top guys. Burchell to murder Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah. No, like I said, I got Burchell beating Leo Santa Cruz, but not JoJo. JoJo got to plant his feet to throw a punch.
I don't know if.
What is that? I mean, what?
Look. Okay, hold on.
I'm saying Leo Santa Cruz has the experience and is a good enough fighter to beat JoJo Diaz. He has the skill set and the experience to beat JoJo Diaz.
Let me let IBT jump in there before I go. Go ahead, IBT, and then I want to let Lance Meyer and Rapstar get some words in too. But go ahead, IBT.
Yeah, I was very impressed with both guys' performance this weekend, right? Like, I just thought they both did well. They both demonstrated they've got hard. I liked watching the fight. But why, when we see him fight Leo Santa Cruz, the next name that comes up is Gary Russell Jr. That's another featherweight. You know, he's beaten more current or former featherweight champions than actual 130-pound champions by like twice as much too. Like it's not even really close. It's like 4-2 at this point. I think I agree with Smoke. I do think he should just stay at 130. I don't even think lightweight is really like his weight class. But you know, even though I have a lot of respect for Leo, I don't quite see like I don't know. I just don't quite see how these guys lose to him, right? And I also don't think Miguel Burchell gets his ass kicked. I think that's probably his hardest fight at 130, actually.
Okay, shout out to my man Willie Williams. He says salute D panel. Oh snap, get this Smoke is back. Yes, sir. Smoke is back. You know, Smoke always bring the heat. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm kind of with Smoke on. I think he ices now, I don't think he gets to that fight, gets through that fight easily. I think he does face some problems. I think he could get buzzed in that fight. But I think Tank ices him, man. I think Tank puts him out too. Yeah.
One quick thing I wanted to get in here as well, just to have it be said for posterity's sake and for the people that are listening, because I know sometimes people hear things and they might think they're hearing something they're not. There's not a single person on this panel that is shitting on Tank. We're all saying he's in a tricky place in terms of weight. It's tricky down there. It's tricky. He's in a tricky fucking position where he can't really go up that much, or else he's gonna be taking on people like Teofimo, and that's not gonna fucking happen. It's just a matter of fact.
I don't see this is the thing with Tank Davis. I know that there was a certain amount of lack. It was a lack of discipline there, and he was getting fat in between fights. But Tank's he's a big dude. He has short arms, and he's a short guy. But I equate Tank Davis to a guy like Sean Porter. Right?
Yeah.
Sean Porter doesn't really have the dimensions to fight at 147, right? But he does have the size to fight at 147.
Right.
When he push guys back, he has the strength to fight at.
It's all about that. It's about that frame. Yeah, they got them short ass arms, that Tyson style frame.
Right. You see Tank Davis's neck. He has a little thick. He's a thick, little, strong guy. So 140 is out of Tank's range because of the same dimensions with Sean Porter at 154, but 135, no, that's within range because he does have the size. No, he doesn't have the length, but you have guys that have been successful in this sport. And if Tank is all his fans are making him up to be, this is what you call challenging yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Challenge yourself. So 135 is reasonable for him. Lomachenko will belong at 135. Lomachenko's a natural 126, 130 pounder. He fought at 135. He beat 4 valid guys at at least 3. Fuck Kroller. But he beat 3 valid guys at 135. He fought Teofimo, who acclimated to the weight. Tank can do it, but will it be a challenge? Yes, but that's what this sport is supposed to be, a challenge, not a fucking football. And
that's how Adrian Broner. That's how Adrian Broner messed up. Because Adrian Broner was a better fighter at 140. He should have stayed at 140. When Adrian Broner tried to go to 147, I think that's when he went bad. He should have stayed at 140 or 135.
I've been saying for days that Broner was the template for what they're doing with Tank now. They're like, we're not gonna let's see how we can not do with Tank what we did with Broner. So what Broner did was Broner shot too high and started getting his ass beat.
Yeah, see the thing is like Teofimo. I mean, not even Teofimo. Tank has a chance to be probably the best 130-pound fighter ever in the history of the division. There's no way that he is going to be the best at 130, the best 130-pound fighter. Right? He can stay there.
Loma?
Yeah, Loma ain't did shit. Like, come on, man. Look at Loma's record at 130. But anyway, I'm just saying. I mean, look at who he fought. Right? And it's not like he cleaned out a division. Tank can stay at 130 for 4 years or possibly the rest of his career if he manages his thing and is focused, right? And so he could clean out the division and be the undisputed, like the actual king of that division in the history of the division. Like he has no shot of doing that at lightweight. And the guys that you're talking about that he could face at lightweight, those guys are also not going to be the best ever at lightweight. So there's not really a whole lot of upside to going up and fighting Teofimo Lopez. It's like a fan base thing. It's like fans talking to trying to put each other in their place. But if you're just looking at a fighter management, like what's best for a fighter, if Tank can stay focused and disciplined, he should stay his little ass at 130 for at least half a decade and just clean out the whole damn thing. And it's not really about his next fight; it's about his entire thing, right? That's my assessment.
No, how is it not an upside going up to 135 and accomplishing? It's a lot of upside to that, because for a 25 fight, we've been watching these fallacies with Tank. Go up to 135 and accomplish, he validates himself. And I agree with you, he could run through. He could potentially run through 135 or 130. We will have to see, because I firmly believe that Shakur gives him a challenge because of his acumen, and that Burchard gives him a challenge because of what he brings. I think Tank wins, but that's a challenge. So I believe that he can do a lot at 130, but it is much upside for him going to 135 and accomplishing. It's a lot of upside to that.
Tank and Shakur is a fight I really want to see.
It's how you do it and who you do it against, right? Like, let's say Luke Campbell happens to like become a unified champion or something like that, and you go up and face Luke Campbell and pick up a couple belt. Like, you got to cherry pick his way through lightweight, right? He can't just be out there and go like, I'm the best lightweight of a generation. Like that's not his game. He's not built that way. He really shouldn't have even been at 135. He might be like a 132 pound guy, right?
But let me tell you something. Tank at 135 against Luke Campbell, I think that's a good fight. Like you just said, Luke Campbell and Tank, that's acceptable. That's a good fight. Why not? Luke Campbell, even what's the name that knocked Loma down? Linares and Tank at 135. If you're gonna fight at 135, that's a good fight. If they were saying we got Linares and Tank coming up in January or coming up in February next year, I knew that's who Tank was getting ready to fight next. That's a good fight at 135. But if you're gonna stay at 130, he should have did what he should have did the first time he won a belt at 130. Just stay there and fight the other champions there. Fight like you say, Miguel Burchout, fight Chris Colbert, fight Shakur Stevenson. If you fight all of those fighters at 130, yeah, they good fights. They credible wins. They good fights. You could say he done something. But of course, if he fight at 135, that's even a little better. You already done came there. You already at 135. You fought Gamboa. So why not? You done already fought Gamboa. So go ahead and fight some Ryan Garcia, anybody next. It don't gotta be no damn Loma, or it don't gotta be Tio. It don't gotta be none of them. Just fight a guy that a risky B or A level fighter. Luke Campbell is excellent for Tank right now. I can't say who will win. I wouldn't say Tank gonna knock out Luke Campbell. I'm not just gonna say that. No, I'm not gonna say he could beat Linares. Hey, I'm just not gonna just say that. Just like no. I want to see him fight one of them. Fight them.
Tank and Shakur is something I'd like to see. That'd be an interesting fight.
That's tight. Yeah, that's a good fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got about a half dozen real good fights at 130, right? And then he has some fights that are winnable for him at 135, and then fights that he just shouldn't even get involved in at 135, right?
Yeah. They could market the fuck out of that Shakur fight too. They could be like, let's see who's going to be the top dog of the new generation, because they both got started Tank got started a little bit earlier, but they're both around the same age. They're coming up. Like, just have them go at it and see who's going to be the top dog of the young guns.
But in my opinion,
that's a bomb burner.
Fellas, let Rapstar and Lance get in here. And
let me just say this, yeah. Let me say this. When Tank was 23 years old, the same age as Fiafimo, he didn't want to be a great person. He didn't want to be when he was young, he wasn't thinking of becoming a great like Fiafimo. He had the opportunity to fight Lomachenko when he was younger then, but he wasn't mature enough as a fighter.
Yeah.
He was not ready at 23 like the 23-year-old guys are today. Yeah, he's been managed very, very carefully. And let me tell you, the problem with that is the same thing with Crawford. If he doesn't fight the right caliber people to get to 135, he'll get found out because he hasn't fought those tough competition what he needs to fight. He's always been avoiding that smoke. The other thing is that if he stays at 130, you guys haven't mentioned this. You know, Oscar Valdez is unbeaten and he's moved to 130. That's a good fight. Oscar Valdez is no pushover. Don't you think Oscar Valdez gives Tank? He's an unbeaten fighter and he's moved to 130. So Tank can make a big fight still at 130 a couple of guys like Oscar Valdez. There's another guy that I reckon at 130 can give Tank some problems. And I forgot the guy's name. Jamel Herring. You know, Jamel Herring's at the end of his career, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's in the same weight as Tank. Why are they not getting that fight on them?
Oh, you know it's gonna be in house. You know all those like 130 guys are at Top Rank, and they're gonna do a tournament in there. You know that. You know.
I'm a fan of Jamel's, but I think Jamel.
Yeah, Valdez is about to fight Burchell too. So I mean, the winner.
They just better fights, D.
They should fight.
That's all, D. They just better fights. They good fights, D.
No, I
they
agree
good fights at 130.
They're much better than what he's been giving us. That's for sure.
Right, they more better. Right, that's right. They more better fights. At least we get to see some.
I've got a quick question for you guys. We're mentioning all these cool fights and unifications, and I really love conceptually, right? I really like all of these. Like any of the champions going against each other, Kevin Farmer versus anyone, Valdez versus anyone. Like these fights are appealing to me, right? It's a genuine question. What was the last unification we had at the 130-pound division?
T.O. and Loma.
That's 135.
Yeah, it's 135. I can't remember. Not off the top.
No, that was 135. My fault. Oh, my fault.
Was Nicholas Walters a champ? Was that even at 130? Was that one? No, this is 130, right?
That was 126.
It was 126. So nope.
Damn, I can't even remember. Damn,
yeah, but I know Burchell didn't do it. I know Tank didn't do it. If
Loma didn't do it,
then
hey, they're gonna pay Nonito.
I'll tell you, it's not happened in the past 5 years, at least, right? At least 5. I think it's actually far more than that.
Yeah.
But I'm legitimately struggling to think
I can't remember what it is, and that's the thing about the 130-pound division. That's what I'm saying. Like if you to me, that division has always been a way station. People are like, I think it's a little bit disingenuous or a little bit unfair. Not disingenuous, but I think it's a little bit unfair to talk about guys moving up and going through 130 because it's an in-between division, right? So guys are always going to be going up through that division to go somewhere else because the next big, after featherweight, the next glory division is lightweight. So you got to, if you're a featherweight, you got to go through that. You got to go through the 130 to get to lightweight, to get to your next big payday.
The last big fight at that was really major at the 130 pounds that was unification. Salino Freitas, who was belt holders in that division when Floyd was in that division. When Floyd beat Gennaro Hernandez, Salino Freitas and Casamayor was the big names back then, and those they unified.
That is the last time it was unification.
That was forever ago.
That's actually the correct answer. Yeah, it was just.
Wait. Sugar Shane didn't do nothing. Oh no, that was before that. Yeah.
Let me catch this super chat. Warp Speed, that shit done disappeared up top. That's why I kept it on the screen. Shout out to you, Warp Speed. He said, "Was pay-per-view a success? Did Tank become a star?" Well, I'll start off with this. I'll let this question go around the panel. I'm gonna say this: Tank is already a star. I just said that earlier. They did a successful job at making him a star. I ain't gonna take that away. Listen, the dude is. I can sit up here and complain about Tank not being proven, him not stepping up the competition, but dog, he's on pay-per-view after fucking pay-per-view. He's already a star. He's got a fan base, so he's a star. Did he become a big star? No, he's not a big star. And I think what will take him from stardom to being a big star is actually fighting valid fights. A lot of these little guys coming up, and eventually that shit's going to catch up to him. His star power will diminish because no one's going to keep buying the Hoax. I'm telling you guys, like the Hoax is not going to be bought over and over and over again. It's going to stop eventually. So he's going to have to fight fights where we say, at least get into a fight where we could say, oh, Tank could lose this one. Just get into a fight like that, man. And if he gets into a fight where I think he can lose, or where Smoke really believes, or Best of the Best, or any of us on the panel believes he can lose, that's a valid test. I don't give a fuck who it may be. Burchell, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, I don't care. If he gets into one of those fights where we say, okay, this is a 50-50 fight, or Tank could lose this fight, then that validates him. But as far as I'm concerned, I've never seen him in one fight out of the 25s where I really thought he could lose that fight. Not Pedraza, not Leo Santa Cruz, and not Gamboa. And those are literally his best 3 opponents.
So, I the only guy that I thought was that was going to beat Loma was Tio, that he actually fought.
Right.
Like the only guy that thought before he fought.
Look, let me tell you before you go down that rabbit hole. I'm not on the Loma train. So saying that shit to me means absolutely nothing because this is about Tank. So what I think about Tank, that shit with Loma don't even apply to me because I've never been on the Loma train. Remember, I said Teofimo's definitely gonna beat this dude. So I ain't never been on that Loma hype. But when I see what I see in Tank Davis, he has to do that to validate himself. Period.
Yeah, so that wasn't directed at you. That really wasn't directed at you. It's just just sort of an overall statement about like the level of competition that guys can face. Right, some guys are so good that you can only come up with 2 or 3 guys that you think could beat them, right, in any sort of weight class, right? And so it just becomes no matter who they fight, you just want to see them fight those 2 dudes, right? Like you can throw Guillermo Rigondeaux out there and people can get intrigued. But you're not really thinking Guillermo Rigondeaux is going to beat Loma, right? You're not one of those people. Like,
he sure as fuck didn't.
I didn't think Rigondeaux old 37-year-old ass was going to beat Lomachenko. Not at all did I think that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
let me ask you something. The guy who's that talking right now? What's your name?
Get the smoke.
He's the OG of the channel. He just came back.
What's his name?
Get this smoke.
Get the smoke. Hey, get the smoke. Check this out. Let me ask you this. Do you think if you was Tank manager right now, if you was managing Tank right now, would you right now, do you think Tank would you put Tank in a fight with Loma right now and that Loma lost, even though Loma just lost? Right now, would that be a good fight for Tank? Would you do that?
Nah, not right this second. No, because it's not just the loss, but also apparently he's injured too.
Oh, so you saying you wouldn't do it because you think that Loma hurt? I'm talking about if Loma.
No, I mean it's both those things. No, I'm just saying both those things. It's coming off the loss and also being injured. It's not really the same thing because the buildup has been so long, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think Gary Russell's a better choice.
I want to keep featherweights out of that dude's like. I don't like that. I just
see the thing with Gary Russell is
it's all about Berchelt, man. Like really, the fight that I think everybody would like to see is Berchelt. Does it have to be next? I mean, Berchelt already has a fight next, so it ain't gonna
have to be next.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be next, but
but that's the fight. But that's really the fight. Like Shakur.
I see where IBT coming from. I see where IBT coming from saying that he don't want to see Gary Russell next because even though me and D said the reason we want to see Gary Russell, we want to see Tank beat up Gary Russell because how Gary Russell to be running his mouth, but it's a waste of time because most likely Tank is going to beat Gary Russell, and what IBT is saying is that is another fucking 126 pounder. So why the fuck is we wasting our time with that again? Unless Gary Russell going to be 130 pounder, I guess if he comes
no. I was only saying that as like for his management team. Like you were saying, like what would you choose if you were his manager? That's where I would go. That's not what I want to see at all. I'm just saying, like on his management team, what would the step be? Gary Russell.
Yeah, hold on right quick, guys. I need to figure this out. Rapstar.
Yeah, Rapstar's in the house.
Oh, okay. Nah, I was trying to figure out which account was actually yours because one of them said Rapstar Knockout.
Well, I've already got 10 fake accounts out there, bro. There's people trying to always come with fake accounts nowadays because they know Rapstar's too vocal like you, D.
I just kicked the other one. As soon as you talked, that's when I kicked the other one. I just wanted to find out which one was the right one.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, don't you think instead of Gary Russell, the winner out of Oscar Valdez and the guy that you told me that he's going to fight, Breeland, whatever his name is, don't you think that's a valid opponent for Tank?
Yeah, definitely. I think the winner and the loser are valid opponents, right? Like that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Tank Davis needs to stay his little ass at 130 and clean it out. All of them. Tevin Farmer is a valid opponent. Like all of those dudes, just beat them all.
Right. Because
I got a different question.
Tevin Farmer and Tank then had a bunch of arguments anyway, and they didn't already. We would love to see Philly and Baltimore would like Tevin Farmer and Tank. That's a good fight. I don't know why they wouldn't try to make a fight. That's a good fight.
I would like to see Tevin Farmer and Tank, but there's no doubt in my mind that Tank beats Tevin Farmer because Tevin Farmer is there to be hit, man. I don't want to really see guys in the ring with Tank that's there to be hit. Tevin Farmer, this is why JoJo Diaz beat him, because he don't get out of the way. He's a slick fighter. He got decent movement, but he don't really do a great job at getting out of the way. And JoJo Diaz ain't packing that heat like Tank Davis, man. I think Tank Davis puts Tevin Farmer, slam the fuck out, but Tevin Farmer's a good boxer. I will give him that, bro. He's a good boxer.
Good name for the resume, though, right?
Yeah,
good name to put on the resume.
A little part with him, and I think that Tevin Farmer is more validity than any fucking body else, besides Pedraza that Tank fought.
Right. Yeah.
I got a question for you guys, though, on a different note. There's a fight from last night that I haven't seen anybody talking about at all. What did y'all think about that Regis Prograis knockout? I thought that was beautiful.
I didn't get to see it, man. I was doing live commentary at the time.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I watched the fight, but I didn't really care. I don't know. I knew he'd knock him out in round 3 or 4, and it was 3.
Right. I just thought the way he did it was nice. Like that was a nice ass slip because the dude was coming for him, and he did like some matrix reflexes. Just turned his head and bam! He didn't even move the rest of his body. Just turned his head and his shoulder a little bit and just.
Yeah, it was beautifully set up. Beautifully set up.
Neo,
but, yeah.
Oh, go Neo. I just think like this, bro. I think that the only guy, man, you must be gone crazy, Jake Cooley. I think that Regis Prograis is a solid number 2. Like I always had he and Josh Taylor as 1 or 2, and that fight really warrants a rematch. But I don't really think that any of those guys could beat Regis or Josh. I just think that those were the 2 that could beat each other. I'm clearly and easily picking Josh Taylor to beat Jose Ramirez because I just felt like the winner of Josh Taylor or Regis Prograis beat Jose Ramirez. I always felt that way, and I still feel that way. I think Regis can beat Jose. I think Josh can beat Jose. And I think that those 2 guys, although Jose is holding the other 2 belts, I firmly believe that Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor are the 2 top guys at 140 right now.
Right. And yeah, just to clarify, for real though, I definitely wasn't saying that was any kind of like a good match fight last night with him. It was just a beautiful, sweet science knockout. Like you don't get to see all that often. Like you get a lot of ugly knockouts. That was just some, like I said, that was like some Matrix shit. That was some deep skill shit.
I was watching the other fight while Tank's fight was on because the other fight was free. The Monster versus James Maloney.
Inoue? Yeah.
That guy, James Maloney's a good fighter, but he made him look like an ordinary amateur in the ring. He made that guy look like he wouldn't even belong in the ring with him.
I gotta watch all them fights. I watched that. I watched the Usyk Chisora fight too, and I was pretty. Chisora made it kind of scary in the beginning. I thought he was kind of looking like he was gonna catch Usyk with something and just lay him out, but Usyk pulled it through, so that was a pretty good
I won 200 on Usyk. I won 200.
I can't believe those 2 guys are masquerading as elite heavyweights.
Who? Ain't neither one of them elite. Oh, look, Jake Cooley, you need to stop your foolishness, man. Because if you're sitting up here talking about Regis is whack, dude, do you even watch boxing? Did you even watch that fight with Josh Taylor? That fool was not the only thing he threw, dude. What is wrong with you? Regis is whack? Really? Regis Prograis.
Regis is the truth.
Regis nice, yo. Regis A level, no doubt.
He's real good.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah, whatever you guys are saying, hey, all against them.
On that, I want to get on this fake ass Deontay Wilder. Enough about Tank right now. We'll get back to that in a little bit. I want to get back on this fake ass Wilder. And Smoke, I'm definitely not trying to get under your skin or anything. But I'm going to start off with this. I felt like Wilder served himself better just remaining to shut the fuck up. And I'll go around the panel with that one. I'll be to you, Frank. What do you think? That's my opening statement.
Yeah, man, he looked like a complete clown saying all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it looked super poor on him. I think it's first of all legally not a great idea to say those things, and second of all, it just I don't know. It gives me no faith in him. I have no faith in him.
I'm one of them. That's me.
If he genuinely believes these things, then I can't like believe he's gonna win a fight against any of the top guys. You know what I mean?
All right, Lance Myers, jump in here, bro. You've been quiet for a minute. What you think, man? Wilder, I said it served him better just to shut the fuck up and remain silent. What you think?
You know, I guess that's kind of a catch-22 for the fans that he still has left. Like we were talking about earlier, I believe on Mark's stream, when he was saying that the people that really back him, for the most part, like his super fans, are the ones that's coming up with these narratives all the time. You know, they're the ones that are saying, you know, there was the spiked water and LEDs in the eyes and the weights, and, you know, the weighted suit and things like that. I know for me personally, like, I actually have to go to the gym and debunk these fallacies, in my opinion, to people in real life that come into the gym, that own these gyms, that come in and want to spar with us and things like that. And they'll come in talking about Tyson Fury being a cheater and all these racial dynamics and things like that that go into this whole dilemma, right? And me being in the inner city, I feel like I'm defending Tyson Fury, but just like the walkout that Deontay Wilder did, it's like subliminal messaging, you know, but this should never be about that. But I feel like that dynamic is already there. And how do we get rid of that? How do we expel that? You know, as far as what was best for his career, it might have been best for his career overall to keep, like, there, because there's so many fans they can't just stay in the middle, right? They can't take it for what it is and move on and accept the loss. There has to be these excuses. There has to be these narratives, and I honestly, I think he should have shut his mouth. I think that he certainly should have just taken the L like a man and not made up these excuses, because in my opinion, a loss isn't the end of the world. You know, it's not. You should be able to learn from it. You should be able to move on. But yeah, that's my take on that.
Some fighters, a loss is the best thing that ever happened to them because it gets their head in the right place. Like I was saying the other night, I feel like Loma taking a loss against what was it? Salido. Loma's loss against Salido was one of the best things that could have happened because it took a chunk out of his ego from the start. Not that he doesn't have an ego now, but he couldn't follow through with that narrative shit about maintaining the O, because right from the start he didn't have one.
Floyd
a loss can be great.
Like those egos are essential. Those egos are essential to become champions. Those egos are essential to become champions, but how do you curb that ego when you take the loss? And that's what I was saying earlier about Wilder, like not knowing how to deal with defeat because he's unfamiliar with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree. Definitely, Floyd is the one. I've been saying that forever. We've been saying that on the last couple chats that Floyd is the one that started that whole thing about the being undefeated being the most important thing and maintaining your zero. And now but now it's to the point where you have people literally manufacturing that shit by not taking the dangerous fights because they want to protect that zero.
Because that's why I think that Floyd Mayweather was so like bad for the sport. Like, I don't have anything against Mayweather as a fighter, and I really don't dive into his personal life enough to have anything against him as a person. I just feel like the stigma that surrounds the sport at this point, mostly towards the casual fans, that will give up. They'll give up on their fighter. As soon as their fighter takes a loss, they don't know how to ride that out. They don't know how to stick by that fighter. They don't know how to say that this fighter is still skilled. They just give up. You know, And it's
A
sad.
loss don't mean nothing. Just because you take a loss to a if you take a loss to an A or B level risky opponent, then that's another A or B level risky opponent on your resume. That's why when I really took the time and understood what I was looking at, and I went over Muhammad Ali resume, if you sit and you really look at that motherfucking resume, you would think I was looking at Muhammad Ali resume like, what the fuck was his manager trying to put a hit out on his ass or something? That was
right?
they trying to get him
He
killed?
fucking fought
What the fuck was they trying to do?
he had him fighting Ernie fucking Shavers, who was just about killing people back then.
So
Ernie Shavers makes Wilder look like he punches with fucking pillows.
When he was nearly killed himself.
I guess that's why I praise somebody like Porter.
Now I see why I see why Ali probably was slow. Like that shit probably took toll. What happened to him after boxing and all that shit. All them fucking fights. But I mean, that's why still, even though it don't matter if it affected him, to me, he's still a fucking GOAT. He's just the greatest. It's like if you look at that shit, I like, what the fuck? They ain't comparing in no kind of way when it comes resume wise.
Right. I mean, come on, you got.
If I can just jump in and do it before we go all deep into Ali, right? Because we're talking about Wilder, not really Ali. Floyd came up and you know, I'd like to address both Wilder and Floyd, and also the timing of the statement and just the content of it, right? So I've heard a bunch of libel and slander and all this stuff. Like I think that people are going a little bit overboard because they have their own conclusions about really what's going on, right? But I'll say it seemed to me as though Wilder didn't have the contract to enforce the trilogy, and so he came out and said what he said, right, in order to try to shame Fury into a fight. I'm now hearing that if Fury tries to get out of the fight, they're going to sue. So if that is actually the case, I think he should have waited for this whole thing to happen and then sued first and then said something, or at least or at least do the statements at the same time, right? But it seems to be like a preemptive strike in order to make sure that the trilogy happens. When it comes to this whole idea now that it's the fans that push the narrative, I think Wilder coming out and saying what he said now needs to just be understood that the fans were actually just the voice of what Wilder thought himself, right? So let's just let's stop with let's stop with the extreme fans thing. Like the truth is probably somewhere in between what, you know, whether or not we can actually get to the truth, that's an entirely different thing. I don't think that Wilder I don't think he has the evidence to prove, more reasonable than not, like more likely than not. I don't think that. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't think what he thinks, right? And whether or not he's skirting the law and all that other stuff, whatever. I doubt very serious that there's going to be any sort of libel or slander case that comes out of this whole thing. I think the person who has the best chance at it is Mark Breeland, right? Just
absolutely.
And lastly, when it comes to this whole idea of the legend, this, for me, I keep hearing about how Floyd is responsible for people not wanting to lose, right? I'm seeing guys like Manny Pacquiao, like Adrian Broner, like Canelo with losses. Like, so it's dudes with multiple losses. Like I started with Canelo and Pacquiao because like Pacquiao been stopped brutally, right? That dude that has losses, he's still pay-per-view. He's still pay-per-view. He's still like,
and he's still and
I'm just
still
trying to
material. And Manny Pacquiao.
No, I'm just trying to big up the sport, just because I think guys can take losses. I think Jermell Charlo took a loss, came back fine. AJ took a loss, came back fine. I think there's a fallacy about this whole idea that fans are now so polyamorous. Like, yeah, some fans who cape for a fighter and think that guy is going to finish undefeated, those guys might shake off. But if you really like the sport, you understand what it is, right? And just this last thing on Muhammad Ali, that is how you clean out a division. Like all this other stuff, like when we say guys become undisputed, that means they clean out the division. No, that's not what it is.
Ali fought every fucking buddy.
Yeah, literally.
When you become undisputed, you done it all, buddy. Don't matter how you want to look at it. When you take all 4 belts in your division, you have done what's got to be done. And I don't even care who the fighters was. It don't matter how talented. That's like Wilder win with even though I know I don't support what Wilder do, and I know Wilder not a good fighter far as how I see Wilder, I still give Wilder credit for beating Stavern. I feel like Stavern is a D-level fighter. So Wilder beats Stavern. Why? Because Stavern was holding the belt. If you holding the belt, you take the belt. So it don't matter. So but as far as the rest of his resume, it's just, to me, it's a bunch of trash. And his career, Wilder's career, took a turn when he decided not to take that fight with Anthony Joshua from the beginning. When they put that $12.5 million up, when they first put it up, and Wilder was only making $2 million a fight, he should have took that money and took that fight and went over to UK like Floyd. Even Floyd came out and made a lot of people mad, made a lot of Wilder supporters mad, because he said Joshua is the A side. Go over to UK and take them 3 belts. And that's what it was, simple as that. Wilder was never the A side to Joshua from the beginning. That's when Wilder's career took a turn, and that's when a lot of people start looking at Wilder in another fashion, and that's just what it is. So that's what Wilder getting now is what it is. That's just what it is.
Well, undisputed.
I just like to throw one thing, just real fast. Like if Wilder had beaten, fought AJ, or if AJ beat Wilder, whoever that was who came away undisputed, they still would have had to see Fury. And that's the difference between being undisputed and cleaning out a division. You still got to see the guys you got to see.
Right, and undisputed is the peak of
Fury was the
lineal anyway. You fight all the notable names in the weight class. Right, Ali became undisputed against Sonny Liston, but did he clean out the division? Did he fight the Floyd Pattersons? Did he fight the George Chavalos and the Carl Mildenbergers and the Zora Foleys and those kinds of people who were roaming around the division, fighting a lot of top opponents? No, he didn't.
Okay, I see what you're saying as far as they not fighting the all of the A or B level risky fighters, whether they got belts or not. I understand what you're saying with that. Yeah, you still want to put those kind of names on your resume, but bottom of the line, the sport of boxing, if I come to boxing right now and you gonna be my manager, and I come into this sport and I tell you, look, I'm coming in the sport at 147 pounds, 154 pounds, whatever. I'm telling you, look, I want all belts. All I'm asking you as my manager, I don't give a fuck how you gonna do it, how this getting done. That's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of person I am. Me personally, that's the kind of person I am. So if I came into the sport, that's how I would feel, because that's what that's the goal. And on my way to getting all of them belts, all the belts that I want, because I want all 4 of them belts, I'm gonna get big fights anyway. We gonna get in big fights, and I'm gonna get big money, because on my way to getting all them belts, I'm gonna run into big money fights, because the bigger the fights, the bigger the money anyway. That's how I look at the business. You're not gonna be having me fighting D and C level over and over and over all my career. No, I'm not gonna do that. I feel like that's why I call the PBC the Protected Boxers Coalition. That's what I named it. It's the Protected Boxers Coalition. The way they letting them fight them fighters, the way they doing shit, it's not saying like, I know Charlo got a loss. I see Charlo took a loss. And like you said, Manny Pacquiao, he got 8 losses. Manny Pacquiao is a fucking legend. Manny Pacquiao is in that legend box off the rip, no doubt. Let Manny Pacquiao legend, hands down. He done it all. And still doing it, like you said. Still to this day, just beat a young Keith Thurman, a young hungry still to this day. So yeah, so taking a loss don't mean anything. If you take a loss, so what? You take a loss. If you take a loss,
that's not really a
loss.
A or
B level fighter, it don't matter. That's why I'm not.
Then you're not really losing.
I'm saying Broner, man, everybody know he's about to lose, right? He just gets in there, he's going to not throw punches and shake his head, right? That's what he's going to do. But he still gets in there. He still gets in there, and he shows that, yeah, I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to do, like, you respect it. You respect respect comes how respect comes. You don't necessarily need to do the whole O thing. I think that thing is, and I think Floyd and that whole phenomenon is blown out of proportion a little bit.
Yeah.
I like, hey, man, we like good fights. All of us, it seems like this whole panel, it seems like everybody else panel like good fights, and we know what we really want to see, man. Like, what I seen yesterday, like I said, with Usyk and Chisora, I really thought, because Chisora, he got a lot of losses. Here we go talking about losses, but Chisora is fucking dangerous. Chisora ain't no motherfucking game. And if he catch your ass right, you get in there and you be in the wrong motherfucking place with Chisora at the wrong time, and your ass might go to sleep. Real shit. And it's just simple as that. But he got like what, 9 or 10 motherfucking losses. But he's still a dangerous fighter.
Hey, IBT champion of the prediction league. I was just taking a look at the standings. What was that you guys was talking about a couple of days ago?
I was saying it's week 3. Is that what I was saying?
Oh, so now it's still early in the season now.
No, those are your words. I learned from the great wise D. Jefferson. I thought it mattered what you were doing early because I was doing excellently, and you said nah. It's about how you finish.
That's
it's
right.
about how you finish,
Right.
and then all right, okay, cool. So that's what we're doing now, right?
IBT, ex-champion, current champion.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Reigning defender.
IBT. Hold on.
Who's the lineal?
Tell him what it is,
And Tyson Fury ain't no lineal champion. Stop that.
That would be me, but hold on for
Lineal.
a second.
D never got first. What is this
Hold on.
Daisy lineal?
Hold on for a
This is a
second.
weird ass lineal.
Let me ask you this question, IBT. Just to educating us here. If in week 6 of last season, I was in 23rd place and still managed to get 5 by season end, what do you think the chances are catching up with me, pal?
I don't know. No clue. It depends on the fights and depends on what you predict, right?
I would say very slim. I'm just going to tell you.
I mean, that's what you said when I joined the league, and then I got first. My first full season. You've been in here for how many full seasons and you haven't gone first, D? I don't know. That's awesome. I'm saying I've been in here for 1 full season and I brought home gold.
He coming for you.
You've been in here for five seasons. You've been in the Olympics for 5 different games and you can't win a medal? I don't know.
You know what they say? It's an old saying that goes, the sun shines on every dog's ass every now and then.
Yeah. Not yours, though.
It's another saying that goes out, beginner's luck. So I'll just tell you this too.
Beginner's luck. Cool.
Okay? You got to show consistency. And
I'm just saying, guys, I just want to say, D. Jefferson is, really good at predicting fights. He was exclusively top 3 until last season. And that's because Mark and I joined last season and we were 1 and 2. Yeah. So I just think the division got a little deeper, and it's a little. I'll tell you this, it's hard. It's hard for D. Jeff to swim now. It's getting a little difficult.
Sharks in the water.
Listen, that season's over with. That's old news, and I'm gonna tell you, I had some situations that I don't really have this season.
You got a shoulder injury or what?
No. I had situations. I ain't said no about no injuries. I just had situations that are not present right now. So you're gonna see what I'm telling you boys about. But I'm gonna tell you something. In 3rd place, that's too high. That's too high for me to be. I usually don't get into the top 10 until like week 5 or 6 because I let you guys try to do your thing. But third place this early, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm still top 5, so I mean I'm cool.
Now
D's a notoriously slow starter.
Yeah, notorious. But you're not top 5. I don't even see you right now, IBT. You know what me and
I'm literally top 5. Please look at the standings.
Okay. Here, let me do this for you then, right? Let me do this for you. Let me go ahead and do this.
Yeah, shout out to Champ. The league is definitely heating up. More and more people are joining. They're putting money on the line, and obviously bragging rights, right?
Hold on.
I think D genuinely believes it's beginner's luck.
No, I don't think that. But what
I don't know. I think you do.
What place did I say?
You said you're in 2nd right now.
I don't talk about you. I said
I'm in top 5.
Is that right? What does that say? I don't think that number says 5. What does that say right?
Is that today? Is that updated?
Yeah, that's today. I don't think that says.
Yeah, because I did pour this week. I got
I don't think that says 5. Though.
No, I was top 5 last week. You're right. This week I'm not top 5.
Let's not make excuses like Lomachenko, Mr. Champion.
He's on the back foot. He's on the back foot.
Oh, he fucking said that shit.
You know what you and Mark and I say? If you're not where, can't see you. Where you supposed to be if I can see you?
Yeah, you got it. You're number 3 right now. That's cool.
Okay, well, where
That's
you
fine.
gotta be if I can see you before I see you?
Look, look, D. You don't worry about me. I'm gonna be top. I'm gonna be top 3. I'll probably win again. I'm just too good at this. I don't know. You'll see me though. You'll see me around.
Right now. So once you get into vision, you're not blurry anymore. Because right now I can't see you. I can't see you, dog.
No, that's fine. Keep thinking that way. I'm so happy you think that way, D. I'm completely fine with you dismissing me. I got no issue with that.
I can't even see you, dog. So
all I'm gonna say is 1 full season, 1 championship. 5 full seasons, no championship. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll tell you
Here's
this.
my question. Here's my question. I want to know what I was missing yesterday when I was watching this Lee Selby Kambosos fight.
Okay, man. That's a good question. So I think the judge was smoking crack. Might have been on his phone, like the judge just got knocked off. But there's no way that should have been a split decision. I mean, Kambosos Jr. and Mark and I are supposed to, I think, do a rewatch of that fight. But I was watching the fight and calling the fight, and I can't see how that judge gave the fight to Selby. One of the judges gave the fight to Selby, and I don't see it.
No, I didn't score it.
United Kingdom.
But what I did see was Selby was boxing very well, maintaining his range very well, moving very well. Kambosos would throw some shots, some nice power shots, and they would land clean. I don't think his work rate was quite there. And again, this was just me just glancing at, I'm watching the fights, but I'm also messing around at the house and everything else. But when I'm looking at what other people are saying, all that I'm seeing is just a complete sweep for Kambosos, and I wasn't seeing that at all. So I was just kind of wondering what your guys' perspectives were.
Well, Lee Selby was more active. He used his jab a lot in the fight, but he was not. It's like he was fighting a ghost. He was landing almost nothing clean throughout the fight. He was extremely hesitant. He was pulling back on his right hand, especially early on. He didn't really land any clean shots to get Kambosos' attention until around rounds 5 or 6. That's why people thought he won so unanimously.
Selby was landing those shots. You say he was controlling the range, Lance. I want you to just go back. You don't even have to watch the whole fight, because I can promise you this: you'll just be wasting your time. The jab he was throwing, he was landing probably 1 out of every 15, literally.
Right.
1 out of every 15. He was throwing these jabs, but they was all air, fam. Like, they were literally all air, and I kept. Like, when I was doing the commentary, I was like, Selby throws a jab, misses again. Throws another jab, misses again. Throws a 1-2, misses on both. This is my live commentary. Like, he was hitting air. And
I was there. I heard it.
I also don't even think that he was necessarily controlling the distance. I think part of Kambosos' game plan was to control the center of the ring and counter. Because he was landing a lot of clean counters early on in the fight.
Yeah.
Was actually forcing Lee Selby to make his movement a bit more rapid.
He looked great as a counter puncher. I just feel like his output wasn't necessarily there because he was so dependent on being a counter puncher. So when I did glance at the TV and when I was watching the fight, to me, I saw a much more active Selby. And in my opinion, I thought that his boxing looked very clean. Now, again, I wasn't scoring the fight. I didn't score the fight at all. I was just watching it.
Clean, not effective. Clean, not effective.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What I will say about Selby is that he was moving well, and he was his defense was pretty decent. He wasn't making himself an easy target for Kambosos Jr. But every time Kambosos Jr. closed the distance on him, he landed something, and that's the difference. Like, Selby would throw these jabs and miss, and then Kambosos would time him, and he would hit him with a couple of body shots, or he would change levels on him, hit him with 1 down, 1 upstairs, and then he would get back out, and then it's this chess match over again. But what we were getting a lot of is Kambosos Jr. getting the lead with like 6 or 7 punches, and then they would probably trade punch for punch, and Kambosos would get an extra punch in. Like, that was the whole fight. Like, Selby just wasn't landing enough. Yeah, he was moving well. He was, utilizing his feet well. He was utilizing that range jab, like range finding jab, pawing jab, not anything to snap a head back or hit the man, right? He was using that, but he wasn't scoring. And it's just like what I was saying with the Derek Chisora and Alexander Usyk fight. These little small, like ineffective jabs and little, soft uppercuts Usyk was hitting Chisora with, they were scoring points. And that's how you win a fight. So even though the jab's not effective, if it lands, that scores. That scores.
Right.
So this is what was going on with those guys.
Speaking of the Usyk Chisora fight, one thing that has to be brought up is I didn't really hear any of it because I was listening to your commentary, but apparently Tony Bellew was out of his fucking mind.
Yeah, that's what my man G-Man, shout out to G-Man Boxing. He said the commentary was god awful.
Not everybody can be Roy Jones or Foreman or Malignaggi on the mic. It's just not everybody suited to that.
Tony Bellew, look, bro, he needs to be left alone. He needs to be just secluded from society. I'm tired of this man.
Yeah.
Well, he just wants to be left alone with his wife and kids, man.
Speaking of Paulie Malignaggi, we got Postol, Baranchik, Loma, and Usyk just putting in. Baranchik was exciting, but he ended up on his back. Postal, that was not exciting. Usyk, that also was not exciting. And Loma, yeah, that was also not exciting. But it was good at the end. They kind of redeemed themselves at the end, but at the first,
you weren't entertained by the Usyk fight, though?
Entertained by it? Hell no. I was like, I can't believe that these dudes are talking about AJ.
The whole DAZN card was kind of fucking boring, man.
What a wonderful pay-per-view card.
I was highly.
There's just different
it was missing a Dave Allen fight.
Wait a minute.
It would have been a tremendous.
Yeah, that Dave Allen fight was a missing ingredient. Would have really tied the card together.
Yeah.
Wait, guys. I think we disrespecting these ladies. Every single woman's fight on that card was excellent. Every one of them.
It can be a good fight and still not be a pay-per-view card.
No. I'm just saying we can't say that it was a boring card because every one of those fights, the women fights, man, Skelly and Esparza and Marshall, man, those ladies that shit was good.
Well, I will say this. Let me preface it. The night before that was the first stream I was on with you guys, and I was up late as fuck, and I passed the fuck out at because I was up till 6 o'clock in the morning talking boxing, and I only woke up in time to see the Kambosos fight. So I saw Kambosos and Chisora, and both of them were pretty fucking boring fights.
Yeah, the women's had some good fights, but still, regardless, as a pay-per-view, very shallow, not pay-per-view worthy.
To me, the little guys carried boxing last night. I mean, the women did a good job. I'm not saying this is no knock on the women. I'm just saying that the little dudes carried it.
Yeah, I think with Chisora and Usyk for me, I'll tell you why. Now, okay, if you don't know either one of these guys, I will have to agree with y'all. It was boring. But I found it was interesting and kind of exciting to me because of the fact of, I guess I know these fighters. So I know that there was a chance that Del Boy could land that shot and hurt him.
Puncher's chance for sure. I've seen Chisora before. He comes to fucking rock you. But if he can't catch you, then he has nothing.
He just looked old and slow and desperate, right? And then Usyk looked like he was just praying shit gonna happen. Like he's gonna be a little dude trying to win on the outside, keeping these big old monsters at the end of his jab. Like it's just awful to me. This is god fucking awful. I can't believe that this is the guy that they're trying to groom for AJ as some sort of intriguing fight.
Yo, Major Key Boxing, what's up?
Oh shit.
What's good, brother? How you doing?
Okay, I just wanted to
That's
make sure.
absolutely ridiculous.
I know. When you took me off the other day, you forgot to add the wrench when I came back. That's why it's
all right,
confusing.
let me put that on now, but I just wanted to make sure that was you dumping on the.
I know what you're doing. I got you.
3 different Major Keys in the motherfucker coming.
I know. I got you.
Put something in the chat so I can put your wrench back on.
I just said, yo, D, what was you talking about as far as what you were trying to tell me? So that's basically because I got a brief moment to talk about it because I know you was talking about that you was trying to tell me on Punch's channel earlier. But I called it too. Didn't I tell you on paper that Gervonta should win?
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Now, Glenn. Yep. What round did I tell you Tank was gonna knock Leo out in?
Yeah, no, you could 1,000% correct. You 1,000% correct. What you don't understand, D, or maybe you do understand, is that I always said that on paper Gervonta should win, but my dispute with everybody was, does Leo Santa Cruz stand a chance? And I said it's always up to his chin. And let's be honest, Leo Santa Cruz was like a warrior fighting back, but then his chin wasn't there.
Yep.
And that's why Gervonta won.
And what did I say about his chin? I said, for all of you guys that's talking about he's never been stopped, gotta look at the guy on the other side, and he's never failed at 130 to knock a guy moving up from 126. He's never failed to knock him out.
Right.
Here's the thing, right? Leo did well in the first 3 rounds, but never in those first 3 rounds did it ever indicate to me that Tank had to go through any type of serious adversity because of what Leo was bringing to the table. I never thought that. Leo was doing well, but I don't think Tank was actually worried about securing those rounds. I think he was just sticking to a game plan, trying to wear him down, go to his body, use his jab, things like that. I don't think he was actually that worried about claiming those rounds. I think he was actually just trying to break him down. Because, I mean, you could just notice Tank was actually standing right there, right in front of Leo, not even using head movement and just eating Leo's shots. He had no respect for what was coming back. You know, I don't even think it was just a factor of not the chin, because even if he didn't knock him out, he would have won on points anyways.
Tank did exactly what you're supposed to do to an active fighter. He kept punishing his body. You take a good piece of wind out of there, every one of those shots, especially those type of shots that Tank was hitting Leo with to the body. Those were some vicious uppercuts to the body, fam. Vicious uppercuts. And people looking at like, okay, so Leo hit him with 3 or 4 pepper and shot. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, that doesn't. And then Tank hits him with 1 thudding shot to the body. Boom! Man, that shit takes the fucking gas out of you. It takes the life out of you. It takes the goddamn initiative out of you. It takes everything out of you, fam. When you get hit with those type of body shots.
I just want to say that I saw a different thing, right? I definitely saw what you guys saw, but I saw Tank fighting backwards. I saw him on the back foot. I saw him using lateral movement. I saw him on the front foot. I'm just saying I saw him fight on the inside. I saw him fighting on the outside. I didn't just see him not worried and walking through the shots. I did see him at a certain point just pressuring him and try to walk him down. But that was like more like round 5, right? That was like later on. But early on, like Leo was putting him through some stuff.
So did he utilize a skill set?
Trying to move around.
Did he utilize a skill set that you weren't necessarily aware that he had, though? Like a Jaime Munguia fighting off the back foot was impressive to me because it showed us something different.
Who's the he you're talking about? Leo Santa Cruz? Did Leo Santa Cruz show me something, or did Tank show me something?
Tank, because I didn't see the fight.
Okay, all right. So what Tank showed me, which you know we kind of knew. What I saw that impressed the hell out of me was I saw the way that he moved his upper body and was just was catching and shooting and parrying. I love to see that. Right? He was like Leo was throwing a lot of shots, and Tank did walk through some, but he was avoiding a lot of those shots too. Yeah. He was making sure that them shots didn't hit. It wasn't just you're feather fisted, so I'm just gonna eat a bunch of shots. That's not what I saw. Like I saw Tank, but making that dude miss and making him pay.
Yeah, he was blocking and parrying a lot of his punches. But like, if you look at the Gamboa fight, for example, he was actually rolling and he was prioritizing moving his head a bit more. He was rolling a lot of Gamboa shots, slipping, bobbing and weaving and all that kind of stuff. He seemed much more comfortable just catching Leo shots, taking his shots on the guard.
All right, so Lance, I want to answer your question. No, I didn't see anything that I didn't think Tank had. And this is what I was telling people. I think it was on Black and Brown's channel. And someone asked me about, I think Glenn, you was there. We was on Black and Brown's channel. And someone asked me, what do you think about the skill level between Tank and Leo Santa Cruz? I said, it's not. I think Tank's an overall better skilled fighter. And then people was like, oh, hell no.
Agreed.
I agree. That's what that is.
The first thing I mentioned was his defense. I said, because we act like it's only one side of this boxing. You have offense and you have defensive skills. And Tank is a much better defensive fighter than Leo Santa Cruz. So I just like Intangible said, I don't know if people hate Tank so much that they don't watch the things, but it's not even just the Gamboa fight. I have seen this dude's head movement, slip shots, parry shots before. And I was like, what are people thinking about this dude's defense? Like, overall better fighter, skilled, I think it's Tank. Tank is not doing nothing to improve his skills, but he has them. I talked about amateur pedigree, 254 fucking amateur fights, bro. You're going to have some skills. He had national titles, golden gloves. He has skills, but people don't watch his skills because, listen, when people don't like fighters, and I understand why people don't like Tank because of the way Floyd and Ellerby are moving him, it has nothing to do with what he's able to do in the ring. I don't care how much you don't like a fighter. That doesn't have a goddamn thing to do with what he can do in the ring. It's the same shit I was saying about Teofimo when people talking about he's just going to come in there with the shoulder roll in the right hand. L-Dog said that dumb shit. I'm like, bro, what are you missing from Teofimo? He offers a whole lot more than a fucking shoulder roll in the right hand. And then when he gets into the fight with Loma, well, I didn't know Teo had that. I didn't know he could do that. And prior to the Teofimo fight, I said, watch after Teofimo beat Lomachenko. These motherfuckers going to come out saying, well, I didn't know Teofimo could do that. I ain't psychic here, man. I'm not psychic here. Shit is like
Yo,
you're watching boxing long enough. It's a cycle. It's a cycle from what you hear from the fans. It's a cycle from what the fans don't pay attention to. I'm not a fucking psychic here, guys.
Right.
This
And
shit that we usually hear.
Hold on, good gentlemen, because I got to hop off. I remember when I came on, I said I only got a few minutes. So my last thing is that you were right about that, D. I got to give you that one because when it came to the boxing skills, I personally did not see the boxing skills being superior from Gervonta Davis's angle. And I still think he has some things to work on because, let's be honest, Leo Santa Cruz coming up 2 weight classes did put in some work on him. So, you know what I'm saying, his right eye was fucked up. So he's got to work on something there. If you're always going to look up for the knockout, you're going to keep yourself open too. But you were right about him getting knocked out in the 6th round, so I got to give you that credit. But I don't think I deserve to eat crow today. You know what I'm saying? Because I said it from the get-go that's on paper how it should have gone down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Man, I don't really
I
care
had
about
big 7th round. I was off a round.
I don't care about
big 7.
Crow, but Glenn, before you go, this is how Crow works. You can say that I can see the guy doing this or that, but when you pick the other guy, and you did pick Leo Santa Cruz, sir, that's how Crow.
No. I said to make it fun because everybody didn't give him a shot.
Whatever. Who did you pick?
All right, then. Because I said on paper should win.
Okay, listen. That Tank should win, but you picked Leo. Whether you was doing it for fun or not, you picked Leo, nigga.
Yeah, I didn't pay $1,000 for it. I paid $30.
I said you picked him to win.
Oh, wait a minute! I thought it was for fun.
It wasn't fun. That's why, because nobody was giving him a shot. Nobody was giving him a shot at all.
Man,
He didn't have a shot.
Glenn, I heard you crying to the mountains about $70 when it came to a pay-per-view fight. You're like $70.
Oh yeah, that's because that's straight robbery right there, man. I also told about those same $70. I'll pay $35 for it, but I'm not paying no $70.
Man, you might as well let that $70 on fire. Whatever you bet on Leo Santa Cruz, you might as well let it on fire.
You weren't alone on that panel, Glenn, because Guido was picked. There was a couple other guys. I'm like, bro, y'all crazy. I didn't say you crazy, Glenn. I said y'all crazy because it was other people on that panel picking Leo. But this is how crow eating works around here. I don't care what your reasons was. When you pick the wrong guy, you eat your crow, son.
let me get my crow in right now because I tried to catch it, but I didn't pick Tio, so I wasn't allowed to get on the panel. So let me eat my crow. I've never been so happy. I've never been so happy to eat crow. So just to make my qualification, my issue was not about Tio's skills, right? I was never talking about any sort of master class. My issue was the moment going to be too big? Teofimo Lopez had to not only call out Loma, but chase him down and sell the fight. What he showed in that ring was nothing short to me. Like I haven't seen anything that close to Ali in a long time, where you got to chase a dude down and then you carry the whole fight and it's your fight the whole time. The guy has to fight your deal. Like that was just masterful. Got to give it up to Tio. He's my new favorite lightweight, straight up.
Damn. With that being said, since you like crow and I said I gotta go, my last statement will be: you could take my my plate over here, bro. Eat my food, GTS, and take my crow. All right.
My man, that's what's up, dog.
All right, bro. Yeah, have a great night.
All right, Glenn.
All right, Glenn.
Yeah, man, because if that shit would have went 12, I had to do a video. I had to do Glenn is this, and I would have did it. I would have put the video out on them, man. You know, I give him his respect. But hey, man, I don't even. And you know what? I'm glad this fight is over too. Let me say this: I'm super glad this fight is over, right? Because I don't like Tank Davis, and I don't. You know, sometimes I cringe sitting up here protecting and defending these fighters that I'm not even really a fan of this dude, bro. He already disappointed me and let me down. I used to be a fan of this dude. I denounced Tank a long time ago. I'm not a fan of Tank Davis, but I spent a full fucking month, maybe a month and a half, defending this dude because I just kept hearing all of these fallacies about Tank Davis, and I'm like, bro, this is not even boxing that you people are talking about. Like, you know what I mean? How do we? It's like the disdain for Tank Davis was so high that people, you know, wanted to see Leo win so bad that they just basically glossed over everything that Tank was about. And I even admitted I wanted Leo Santa Cruz to win. I wanted him to win because I was tired of Floyd putting on these fucking shows. I said that on one of my lives. I said, listen, for all of you people think I'm hating on Leo Santa Cruz, I like Leo Santa Cruz, and I don't like Tank. I have Leo Santa Cruz in my top 10 pound for pound. Tank is not in my top 15 pound for pound. So it's not like I'm not a fan of Leo. I'm actually a fan of Leo, and I'm not a fan of Tank. But it was so weird that I had to defend this dude for like a month and a half because of all this senseless shit that people were not paying attention to. We cannot put what Tank was doing when he was undisciplined, fat in between fights, and apply that to this scenario because he was in the gym, he was focused, he was dedicated, he was in shape, and everything that people was putting into this fight was based on what he did with Gamboa. Was he in fucking shape for Gamboa? No. Was he in the gym like he was supposed to be? No. Was he dedicated? No. He was all of those things going into this Leo Santa Cruz fight. And that was just my logic on this. And I'm like, what is everyone missing? What is everyone missing?
You know what? That's what you just said sort of encapsulates a bunch of sort of situations in boxing, like especially like the heavyweight. It seems like if you pick a guy to win, that means you need to hate on the other dudes, right? It's very hard. Like I really, really like Tyson Fury's skill set. I think it's unfortunate that it's attached to Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury, the person, but I like actually what the dude does, right? So, and then the fan bases, it seems like you can't just like fighters for what they bring, and also the skill set, and also the drama of the fight. Even if you're rooting for one or the other, right? It's just hard, right?
You see, Smoke, after all of that we went through with Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, I get up on Punch Drunks Live today and Brotherhood calling me a Tank hater. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Have you been to my fucking channel and heard me defending this guy? If you're a real hater of a fighter, you don't have shit good to say about him. If you're a real fanboy of a fighter, you're not going to say anything bad about him. You're not going to admit it. So
yeah, but that's your definition, remember?
I was pumping this dude up for the past month and a half, you idiot. How am I a hater? Like I'm defending this dude and pumping him up for the last month and a half, but I'm a Tank Davis hater? No, I'm just calling out reality. Floyd sold a fucking hoax. That's the reality of it.
Well, I think it's a disappointment, right? I think that there's an idea that Tank could have been more than what he actually is going to be. But I don't think that I think that might be unfair. I think at the end of the day, he may be everything that we thought from the beginning. Just he might not have liked the road that he took, but he may end up the same place. Just because he didn't fight Loma when he was 22 years old and Tio beat him first and all that stuff. Like, I mean, whatever.
I want to speak on this too. Warp Speed did bring up a good point. I told a lie, and this is based off of Warp Speed's comment here. I told a lie. Somebody asked me if I seen something out of Tank yesterday that I'd never seen before. Yeah, I have. Humility. Because that press conference and the way he showed care for Leo Santa Cruz and the way he spoke about him and gave him congratulations, that I congratulate on Tank. Because I've never seen that side of him before. I usually only see him talk shit, degrade the guys he's fighting, degrade guys that he's not fighting, but don't go and fight him. Like, Devin Haney's a bum. Everybody he spars is a bum, but you're not fighting him. But I never seen that side of Tank, and the admiration and respect he showed to Leo Santa Cruz, the fact that he was actually worried about him when he looked back, that's something that I'd never seen from Tank. So shout out to Tank Davis for that, because he showed graciousness in winning. And sometimes you don't get guys to do that. They win and they're not a gracious winner. They're what you call a sore winner, right? So for Tank Davis, I want to congratulate him for that, because that was classy.
One thing that I thought was really admirable of Tank, or at least showed me quite a bit about Tank's character, was when Floyd Mayweather was just saying how proud of him he was. And I could actually feel that from Floyd, which I didn't necessarily expect. But Floyd seemed sincerely happy for Tank, and the way that Tank received that message was really cool to see, because you could kind of tell that he hasn't really had that positive reinforcement, and coming from somebody like Floyd was a big deal for him. So that was cool to see for me.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of my only real qualms with Tank as a fighter, coming from where he's coming from, and kind of stopping before he reached, the top of the mountain, or at least feeling that way, right?
Right.
Like you have the potential, you have all the abilities to be successful, but for you to get to, the manager before you could be the COO or the CEO is
Right.
sad to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing that I could take away from Tank. His skill set's there, his power's there, and now let's hope the dedication's there, because he could be an incredibly promising fighter.
Yeah. Nicholas Dalby says Tank doesn't live the life. He's going to burn out much quicker than we think. Floyd lasted forever because he was in the gym all the damn time. Now, this is what I'll say about that, Nicholas Dalby. If you're gonna fuck up, if you're gonna be undedicated and not focused, then you should get that shit out of the way in your mid to early 20s. So it's not too late for Tank. This is the time where he can turn everything around, because he can take that focus and that dedication from one camp and continue to do that. And I think he will have a great career, because shout out to King Unbiased. He said this before. A dedicated and focused Tank is a dangerous Tank. And I agree with that 100%. This kid dedicates and focuses himself and starts challenging himself, fighting the right fights. He's a dangerous guy, because I've never disrespected his skill set or his potential. The potential is still there. And at 25, it's not a lost cause yet. He still has plenty of time to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yo, that's why I said Leo didn't stop working in 2017. You know what I mean? That's why I was just talking that shit when we were over on Black and Browns, because that was sincerely how I was feeling at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
When it comes to Floyd, Tank has some decent examples, right? In Floyd and Adrian and Bunny and all that stuff. But Floyd had ATG examples, right? He had the guys that he had around him, and the example they accept is way different than what Tank has been exposed to. So the idea that Tank is going to be around on top of the game for 20 years, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, and the fact that Tank was exposed to it at such an early stage of his career, whereas Floyd kind of brought himself up from the mud. Like, he wasn't introduced to really rich celebrity figures such as himself. He was introduced to a boxing family that was still relatively poor and had to work their way back up into prominence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Tank Davis, the thing, it's like this, guys. Floyd Mayweather and Ellaby, again, they've done a terrific job of making this star. But as far as, bringing him forward as a good fighter, they're not doing well. They're not doing well at all. They're not bringing him along the way that he needs to be brought along to get better. And I'm not going to sit here and give them credit for that. They're helping him out financially, but they're ruining him as a boxer. They're ruining him.
How long did it take for him to twist that up is my question, because then he sent out a tweet and deleted right away.
I don't even know, fam. I don't even know. Arnold Finkley, what's up, fam? What's good with you? Yeah, I don't even know, bro. But I just think that they really have to keep moving him in the right direction. I hope that Floyd is telling the truth for 2 reasons. I don't know if Teofimo is going to stay around for 2 fights with Tank because he'll have a fight in between, and I just could imagine him going to 140 by then. But I hope that Floyd is telling the truth, like Ryan Garcia, then Teofimo next, or Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney next, or Ryan Garcia and Loma next. I hope he's telling the truth about continuing to move Tank in this direction. Because if he's just playing the same old Floyd and he put that tweet out there, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo next, just to continue to build this bullshit hype, because this is what he does. This is what he does. He puts Tank in one of these fights, one of these WWE events, and then he celebrates the win that is not really significant if you really look at it. And then he says what Tank is going to do next. And Tank never does that next. This is what Floyd's been doing the whole time. So it's safe to say that I don't believe him, but I hope he's telling the truth this time. But I don't believe him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, he is definitely into the point where he should be fighting the best available guys, right? The whole Tank is young and all that stuff. Tank is now a complete fighter on his way to being master of the craft. So.
Right. No more process. The process is fucking over, fam. I'm tired of hearing about, we're taking the process with Tank. Listen, man, he's a 3-time champion, 2 division champion, and he just beat what you said, a 4-division champion. Ain't no more goddamn process. Ain't no more weaning him alone. Ain't no more he not ready for that. Well, what the fuck does it take and how long does it take for him to be ready for that, Floyd? Why do we got to keep hearing he's not ready for that? When is he going to be ready for that? Teofimo was ready for that in 16 fights. 9 fights less than Tank. When the fuck is Tank gonna be ready for that, Floyd?
I'm back, guys. I passed the fuck out there for a minute. I've been staying up so late trying to watch these fights the last couple nights that I just conked out.
Good thing it's Sunday, Neo. You get to sleep it out.
Right?
Yeah.
I was listening to y'all talking, all of a sudden.
So the next fight is what? Garcia Spence? Is there something else we're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to that. But Lydia,
there's a fight on Tuesday, right?
I don't know, but real quick, Lydia says,
yes.
I think we're all high on Tank, but mad at how Floyd is moving him. It's like I was high on PBC fighters, but I'm so mad how they're doing it. Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Lydia. That's why I denounced Tank, because I was not only I was a gung-ho Tank Davis fan, just like I am. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. The same way I am with Teofimo Lopez, that's how I used to be with Tank. And I still see that in Tank. Right? I still see that Tank could.
I'm with you on that.
But
totally.
he fucking disappointed the fuck out of me. And it wasn't really because of Tank. It was because of how they were moving him. So I agree with you 100%, Lydia. That's just how I felt. This is why I'm so hard on Tank. Like, when a fighter shows me all of this potential and what he can be, and then he just fucking plummets into nothing. And I know that just because he's not focused and disciplining himself, his handlers are not doing the right thing. Man, that disgusts me in this sport, because that's not what we want to see with these young fighters. What if Virgil Ortiz just fell off and started acting like that? People would be fucking pissed off with Oscar De La Hoya. Like, oh, this dude could have been this, he could have been that. What if Teofimo Senior and Lopez just start fucking around from here on out? Right?
All right, I'm right there with you. I think the reason why we're all being so hard on this Tank situation is because we care so much about the sport and we see what he could be. He's got the potential, but will he reach it is the thing. We've seen so many people come up where they've had potential and they never fucking meet it.
All right. My brother Nick, Boston Nick in the building. What's good with the Boston Nick? Appreciate you sliding through here. Yeah, man. And so, hopefully, it's like I said, it's never too late for Tank. And I'll say it like this. It's never too late for Tank with me either, because I denounced the Charlo twins at one point. Now, I've picked one of them up, and I'm a fan again. I was a fan before, and he's got me back in his good graces. Because
which one, Jamal?
The fuck, no. He's the one that's still on the sideline. He's sitting on the curb, and I'm that guy that drives by him and splash the water puddle all on him. That's actually
Yo,
what Charlo is to me. But
you're
Jamel
bogus.
Charlo is my motherfucking dude again because after he won the Tony Harrison fight, it wasn't the fact that Jamel won the Tony Harrison fight. I'm gonna tell you what won me back with Jamel. What's up, Jimmy Mack? This is what won me back with Jamel. After that fight that he won with Tony Harrison, it was the call outs he gave me. That man said Iris Landy Lara, Jared Hurd, or Jason Rosario, and nothing else. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. You don't go downhill, you go uphill. Tank fought Pedraza and went completely downhill. He's supposed to go uphill from Pedraza. So Jamel Charlo became a 2-time champion and he went uphill. He called out uphill and he went uphill. He even called his brother out. He was like, let me get that kind of offer. You think I'm going to turn down Andre to Canelo? That's what Jamel said. He even called his brother out on that. That's the type of shit I'm talking about. So Jamel is my man. Jamal, go fuck yourself.
Huh. See,
Hey,
part
what's
of
up, D?
What's
Go
up,
ahead,
man?
L-Dog.
What's up,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll just quickly give some takeaways from the weekend, I guess.
All right.
So first off, takeaway number one: Gassiev is going to do better at heavyweight than Usyk, I think.
Oh.
Takeaway number two: Usyk is pound for pound number one now for me. Takeaway number three:
What?
Inoue is a phenomenal fighter. Once in a lifetime type of talent. Number four: Tank Davis is a beast. I'm paying for every pay-per-view he's on.
Oh my God.
And number five: Lomachenko still beats Tank easily. And number six: don't even get me on Teofimo versus Tank.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
That's a massacre.
Yeah, for sure. Now, two things.
Tank knocks him out.
I want to speak on about what your takeaways was.
Tank knocks him out.
I'm kidding.
The Houston situation.
You got me.
I no. Well, let me say this. I just want to speak on it. Actually, not disrespect L-Dog on this. I'm the kind of guy that's with the Myron Magnus. I'm glad you stepped up here. Bring your ass up on this panel right now. I'm putting that link in here for you, Boxing Logic United. But this is what I want to say, L-Dog. I can appreciate the fact that you're bumping Usyk up because I had him in my top 5. I can appreciate the fact that L-Dog is actually bumping Usyk up to number 1. I don't agree with Usyk being number 1. I will say that right now. But I generally get on L-Dog for being a fucking fanboy, right?
Whoa.
Oh, shit. Well, here's the thing, though, L-Dog. Only saying that Usyk, and he came up in a weight class and beat 2 heavyweights. So by him moving up because of doing that, I don't mind that at all. I don't agree he's number 1, but L-Dog, this time I don't even mind you bumping Usyk up, fam. I don't even mind that.
D, let me just quickly give my reasons why. First of all, we know Usyk has a phenomenal resume.
This is how you want me back.
But anyway, man,
you on full screen, nigga. Go ahead, L-Dog.
Yeah, first of all, Usyk's resume is one of the best in the sport. You know, he's
like
beat
a girlfriend,
elite.
nigga. You sound like a girlfriend right now.
All right, that's good. Shut the fuck up. But anyway,
L-Dog's a computer, dog. He's a fucking computer. He has to be.
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
What I was gonna say, man, is Usyk, his resume is phenomenal. Now he came up to heavyweight and just beat a top 10 heavyweight, who weighed 38 pounds. 38
Shut the fuck
pounds.
up. Oh, you just said Usyk's the number 1 pound.
Myron, let that man talk. Go ahead, L-Dog.
He beat a top 10 heavyweight, in my opinion.
Stars do not get to speak.
All right, go ahead, L-Dog.
All right. So he beat a top 10 heavyweight who weighed 38 pounds more than him. You know, what I'm gonna say is, let's see an Errol Spence fight a cruiserweight. You know, let's add 38 pounds. Let's see how he does against a top 10 cruiserweight. You know, do you think he beats a top 10 cruiserweight? I think he gets knocked the fuck out and destroyed.
Well,
I think you're retarded.
Well, hold on, L-Dog. Now, with all due fairness, Usyk moved up 1 weight class. How the fuck you jumping Errol Spence from fucking welterweight?
I
heard that too.
That's why.
I had to do a triple take on that shit. Like, what?
Guys,
because
the weight
the weight.
He's doing a one-to-one. He's doing a one-to-one weight translation, which is not
He's
how
an
it
Usyk sexual.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta get on this dude right here. You, Myron Magnus. Now,
No, we're gonna get on the Usyk sexual right now. We got Usyk sexuals. Yeah, Lomosexuals. Now you got Usyk sexuals.
Yeah, whatever. No, don't worry about no Usyk sexuals. I want to worry about you and this fight yesterday. Didn't I tell you that?
Motherfucker, we talked about that yesterday. You ain't telling me.
Didn't I tell you this fight will not go 12 rounds? It won't make half of 12 rounds. You want to
muted this motherfucker
and fucking promote boxing with your bullshit. Listen,
you trying to floss on me on your show? Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
Hey, real quick, I made at least $2,000 in the last month from the boxing.
Tell him again, Nick. Hold on. Let me put you on big screen. Tell him again, Nick. Tell him again.
Come on, I hit real quick.
Yeah, you on full screen. Tell him what.
Take this gump off the screen.
No, I'll thump the fuck out you. How's that sound?
Because you
thump the fuck out you real quick.
Tell him what you just said, Nick. What you just said.
Over $2,000 in the last fucking month.
That's Madonna's little brother.
But hey, can I say one thing?
And I slap you up when I'm in bed.
Since I did the one-to-one weight translation, I actually just quickly calculated the percentage of body weight in terms of the difference.
Inside the distance.
And if we look at the percentage of body weight, Errol Spence would have to compete in the 175-pound division.
I'll keep going.
So, I mean, what top 10 175-pounder does Errol beat?
Well, listen,
D, you gotta stop bringing Barnum and Bailey Circus on your fucking boxing panel. I'm getting the fuck up out of here with these weirdos.
Thank God you're leaving, dude. Because you're so annoying. Shut up.
Yeah, Myron Magnus, you gotta stop fucking telling people who they can have and who they can't have.
I whoop that ass, boy. I whoop that ass up and down the street. How's that sound?
Don't worry about that. He's gone. Like,
but as I was saying,
you don't want it.
Ain't no fucking free smoke platform. Like, I was 2 seconds
I feel you.
off anyway. I don't like
talk shit though.
But yo, as I was saying, D, the difference in weight was 17% of Usyk's weight. Now, 17% of 147 is like 26 if you round up. So if we had 26 pounds to 147,
Usyk whack. Stop doing math. You guys out here without calculators.
Don't cut him off, man. Come on with that.
So what I'm saying is, let's see Spence fight a top 10 175-pounder, and we'll see how well he does. He gets slept. That's why I respect Usyk so much. He fought a guy so much bigger than him, and he's beating these guys just based off his skill set, and he had an injury on his left hand. Facts.
Okay, now, Eldog, since you finished that ridiculous statement, let me tell you this right here, fam. There's no limit currently at the fucking heavyweight division. So when you decide to go to the heavyweight division, what you can't do is sit here with your silly mathematics comparing what Spence should do going up to 175. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. That dumb shit you talking about right now, Usyk knew what he signed up for. See, with Spence, he goes up 7 pounds to 154. Then he goes up, to 160. This is how boxing goes. But the heavyweight division is such because Tyson Fury weighed 270 something pounds. Like, bro, we're not trying to hear all of this with your mathematics about what Spence need to do. The facts are this.
I ain't saying he needs. Oh, my bad.
I ain't let nobody cut you off, so can it? The facts are, I gave you respect for bumping Usyk up, but don't take it too far, especially going at my dude Errol Spence, because I don't play that shit here. So let's leave the Spence out of it, because this will just turn into a body bagging session if you're going to start fucking Errol Spence. Like, let's leave that one alone.
I got a better idea, D. Let's do it with Andrade. Now, how well do you think Andrade would do at heavyweight?
Let's do it with Andrade. That motherfucker will get his ass.
Yeah, this all bullshit anyway, because it's different because weight is the big equalizer. When you're going up in those higher weight classes, it doesn't there's not as big of a difference between where Usyk was and where Usyk is now for where Spence is now and trying to go to fucking light heavyweight. There's a bigger difference there, even though it's the same poundage.
Right.
It's actually the same percentage of body weight.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
It's the percentage, L-Dog, but these guys in these lower weight classes underneath heavyweight, you know what they do, L-Dog? They do something really specific that heavyweights don't have to do. They fucking cut weight, dude. You guys are bigger guys walking around.
Correct.
So you're talking about Spence going up to 175. Well, Spence walk around weight when he was undisciplined was maybe 185, 190. What the fuck do you think these guys walk around weight is at 175?
220.
And also, when you talk about percentage of body weight, you're also talking about the entire body. So when you're talking about a guy who's 5'9" versus a guy who's 6 feet, right? It's a completely different ratio.
Right. Come on, L-Dog. That's
bone density.
Shit, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that weight thing, that's pound for pound for me. Usyk, he's a sensational fighter, man.
Again, you
real
can all you want,
amazing boxer. The greatest.
You pick your praise, but you ain't gonna come in here dumping on Spence. Kill that nonsense, Sam.
Kill that noise.
Can I ask him a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Where'd you put Deontay Wilder on your pound for pound after he fought and had to draw with guys like Fury, right? Fury outweighed him by how many pounds, and he managed to drop him.
Right.
Fury was
so where was he on your pound?
Okay, that's
an incredible weight deficit. That's an incredible weight deficit you're talking about, right?
All right, so who was in better shape though for that fight?
What? I don't think you're getting my point. He's using.
I'm just asking you a question.
I think Wilder's always in better shape, right? But we're talking about the weight difference.
The question was directed at me. Can
I don't know. Whoever's talking to me right there, I don't know what's going on.
So here's the difference.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. He's putting Usyk on his number one pound for pound due to a weight discrepancy between him and Chisora and him beating Chisora, right? What is that? What is that?
It's more to it than that. He was just taking.
Yeah. That's just one instance of why I think why this victory I think is perhaps better than some are giving him credit for. Usyk also has a far superior resume to Deontay Wilder. Wilder is yet to beat a Glovatsky. He is yet to beat a Bellew. He is yet to beat
a Bellew, man. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Fury came from being a
Bellew is basically a fucking cruiserweight.
Why did you mention Bellew? There's so many better names you could.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Here's the thing. I'd go as far as to say
stupid.
him beating Tabiso Makuno is probably better than any of Wilder's victories, and that's probably true.
Okay.
Hey, Wilder got beat by a drug addict that came out of 4 years almost.
Yeah, right. So now, right, that's what Fury is. He's a drug addict.
No, not at all.
I'm gonna say this.
No, real quick. I'm an ex-drug addict. Okay, got clean in 2011. I praise that man for what he did.
Okay, great. You know what? Like, there's been plenty of drug addicts that are champions. Like, that's not a thing.
Really?
Tons of them.
How many?
Tons of them.
Well, maybe in boxing, but how many?
In boxing. That's what we're talking about.
No, and UFC too, Nick. Remember Chris Lieberman?
John
Lieberman. He was never a champion though.
Well, yeah, true.
Hey, yo, what about Kovalev, man? Kovalev.
A drug addict in MMA ever that's
what about John
except
Jones?
for a couple of my friends in the UFC.
Hey, what about Conor McGregor?
He wasn't no drug addict, bro. That man came from
alcoholic.
humble beginning. His dad was
that man was
plumber
smart
that made a lot of money.
John Jones.
John Jones is like regarded by some as one of the greatest fighters in MMA. He's in
Hey, hold on a second.
The champ is here.
Hold on.
Anderson Silva say again? No, we're talking about recreational drugs, cocaine and weed.
Yeah, he was also on steroids as well, though.
Yeah. I mean, so we want to talk about those kind of drugs and Anderson Silva.
Yeah, if we want. But anyway, I think we're getting off topic here, man.
Let's get it straight. Not enhancements.
Hold up, Austin, because what Get the Smoke is saying is, or I guess what other people are saying is like Wilder deserves credit. The dude didn't win, and Usyk has a far superior resume. This win is a good win.
Yeah, that's you guys to. That's above my head.
L-Dog.
This dude said Bellew, though.
No, hold on, Neo. L-Dog. Can it, fam? This is about Tank Davis and Deontay Wilder. I don't want you to start going on.
Okay.
European fucking rant, fam. Because you always do that. You always turn this back around to these fucking Eastern European fighters. We're talking about two fucking fighters, and we're flaming them. and that's Tank Davis and Deontay Wilder. So let's stick to the script and fuck the shit with Usyk and Herder and fucking Lomachenko and whoever else.
There is a way that we can tie in this weekend's fight to another one of his famous favorite topics, and that is an Australian fighter that got knocked the fuck out. Right, Monster killed Baloney.
Yeah.
Slam the American fighters and give the Eastern Europeans a break. D, is that what you're saying? Slam the European fight. I mean, slam the American fighters and give the Eastern Europeans a break. Is that what you're doing?
Check this out, Myron. What you're not gonna
I'm asking you a question.
No. What you're not gonna do, fam, is disrupt my panel, fam. So like, just conduct.
I just asked you a question.
It's getting kind of free smoke up in here.
Hold on, guys. Myron, again, I'm asking you and being nice about it. Don't disrupt the panel. You can ask questions.
You have to be nice. I understand. I heard what you said. I asked you a question, though.
Okay, well, by cutting somebody off, you're being disrespectful. Some shit I don't allow on here. Okay. So just
my apologies to the person talking. So we can flame the American fighters, but don't flame the Eastern European after what you just said. I'm just listening.
Right now. So if you're just listening and you asking me a question, zip it so I can answer it. What I'm telling L-Dog.
That's what I heard you should say that.
See.
Let him finish.
You might go on mute if you can't stop talking, man. What I told L-Dog is I don't want to hear him fucking bigging up these guys. I didn't want to hear that. Okay, because L-Dog will come and totally change your discussion talking about fucking Hergovich and Usyk, and he does this all the time. So I will stop in that, and I want to keep it on the fucking discussion, Myron. And since this is my channel, Myron, I have every right to do that, Myron. So let's talk about Deontay Wilder's fallacies and the hoax, the WWE event that Floyd Mayweather put on. Let's talk about that.
Well, I got some thoughts on that too, D.
That was a hell of a fight for 6 rounds.
Yeah, first of all, I'm a Tank fan. You know, listen, I don't like the guy, his personality, but he's an exciting fighter. He's a good fighter. I'm gonna buy his pay-per-views if, you know, they come up for sale, because I actually got it on regular Sky Sport. But as for Wilder, shout out to Wilder, man. He's giving us content. He's shaking up the boxing world. You know, I try not to go in on the man. You know, I'm glad he fired Breeland, because hopefully, listen, just hopefully this time no one throws in the towel and we get to witness something that will remind us, like, bring us back to the gladiator days, you know,
man.
A real finishing.
That's how guys are getting the CTE, bro.
That's how some people, that's how we get fucking Abdusalamov Lopez. That's how we get that shit. Nope, I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
what throws me off.
I still like the idea that, like, I really love the Nigel Benn Gerald McClellan fight. Like, that was one of my favorite fights. But the aftermath of that actually makes me a little bit uneasy about being a boxing fan.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That one fight changed the entire way I look at the fight game. And ever since that fight, whenever shit starts getting heated like that and somebody's getting the shit beat out of them, like, get them the fuck out of here. They don't need to go out on the fucking shields like everybody's talking about. Fight another day.
Yep. Live the fight another day.
You need to go watch women's wrestling or some shit then.
Nah, bro. You have no
That's why honestly, I'm not going to be out here like completely
been hit by
destroying.
overhand right with a 16-ounce glove.
That's why I usually don't completely destroy guys for quitting in fights. Like, it takes a lot of fucking balls to have a brain bleed, have your brain fucking moving around in a dehydrated fucking system while you're getting punched around in a ring constantly.
I mean, just died, what, a year ago, right?
Exactly. A bunch of people died last year.
Yeah. Like, he was taking some serious damage, or it was the Cotto fight where he was taking serious damage. He had a broken eye socket, a broken nose, broken ribs, and there were so many points in the fight where he thought about quitting. Like, all of us probably would have quit in that circumstance had we not been knocked out.
But how about that man that could
say something real quick?
Who was his buddy McGirt in his corner? Who was it?
You talking about Breeland?
No, it was like
the fighter who died, Dadashev.
Yes,
yeah, that's McGirt.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that should have been stopped.
Okay, hold on.
McGirt through the towel just wasn't fast enough.
Real quick, let's be honest. all of that seemed really, really fugazi. Because if you really care about these fighters, honestly, if we all genuinely cared about the fighters, we wouldn't be supporting the sport of boxing or combat sports to begin with. You can't draw no lines in this. You can try to do
what the fuck ever, man.
Ain't no
Get out of here with that shit.
It's retarded. You really don't care about the fighters. It sounds good for you to say.
D, can you handle this man, please?
You don't care about him.
D,
You can't care about him. We yet want to see him beat each other's minds out. I didn't finish what I was saying though. But you can't care about him, yet you want to see him beat each other's minds out in the get-go in the first place. So it's all fugazi and fake. Cut the bullshit. You really don't care about it. But you gonna I ain't finished. I'm not finished.
I know.
I'm not finished.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
All right.
We truly, and I'm not gonna say you, I'm talking about me too. We truly don't give a fuck about how they fucking feel. When they die is when we feel sorry. If we truly gave a fuck how they fucking feel, then guess what? Benavidez will have all the money he needs to get all the health needs he needs. McCallum will have all the money he needs to get all the health needs he needs. They don't though. So you really don't give a fuck. It's just when somebody dies, it's when all of a sudden you want to give a fuck.
Oh, really?
Why?
So
Because you mimic. Hold up. I'm finished. I'm not finished because you mimic and you act like the way you're supposed to respond in a situation like that. But you really don't care.
Let me know.
That's the truth about all of us. All of us. Real talk. So cut the bullshit.
All right. So you're telling me screaming at the TV saying stop it, stop it. In multiple UFC fights, let alone fucking that fight alone, is not caring. Waiting for him to die is caring. Who the fuck?
I said stop it. Okay, I'm gonna answer your question.
Let the man finish.
Like seriously, who do you fucking say that that's not caring? That should have been stopped. That man went on a shield, but he went on more than his fucking shield. He's dead.
Yeah. I'm not trying to watch a snuff film.
And I'm pretty sure that
I don't care what it is
here
you
saw
think.
that fight and like myself, who's not even a fucking like you guys, a fucking boxing fan. I'm an MMA guy, and fucking you all know that should have been stopped about a round and a half beforehand.
Ryan, don't just be trying to put because you feel that fucked up way. Don't be trying to put that on other people like other people feel the way you feel. Like you know how the fuck other people feel about the sport. Shut your mouth, man.
Go ahead, Neo. He can't. Nobody can. Go ahead. Your flow.
No, I'm saying he's trying to put that's how the fuck he feels about shit, and he's trying to put that on everybody else. Like he's in a position to say how everybody else feels about the sport. That's how you feel, nigga. Don't be trying to put that shit on everybody else. Like you know how the fuck we all feel. I've seen too many people die in that fucking squared circle. Nobody can hear your ass ranting. Shut up.
Yeah.
We care about knockouts. We want knockouts, but we care
That's
about
you.
So
we want people.
My turn.
Boy didn't get knocked out.
Hold on, guys.
He took a lot of damage.
Here it is. This is what I'm going to say about this. We have doctors on the outside of that ring. We have trainers in those corners. We also have the official in that ring. And all of these people have been trained to stop the fights before they get out of hand. Sometimes the trainers, the officials, the doctors, they all slip. But as boxing fans, as combat sports fans, we understand that there's a level of danger. Sean Newton just made a comment in the chat. Are we going to stop watching football because of CTE? Probably not. But what we have to do is depend on the people that's in place to do their jobs. This does not mean that because we watch the sport, we don't care about these fighters or their well-being. It does not mean that. It doesn't mean anybody's being fake because we watch the sport or we don't care about their well-being. So your perspective is your perspective, Myron, but it's skewed. It's highly skewed, and none of us on this panel agree with that bullshit. Okay? That's just your perspective.
Can I go next? Can I after you, D? Can I respond?
It's real fast. It's real fast.
Hold up, D.
It's real fast.
I asked D to respond. D, I'm responding to you, D. D, how the fuck? And no interruption. I've been quiet. How the fuck you want to see? We want to see knockouts, yet we care about people's wealth. That's an oxymoron. Okay, let me finish. How the fuck? You know what I'm saying? We have doctors do jobs, but the jobs they're gonna do is already after the fact. You know what I mean? It's going to be after the fact of somebody getting fucked up, not before, because the damage of boxing is always happening all the way up. And somebody, King Ubi, just said in the comments, Myron, is called being a humanitarian. Well, seeing two men just beat up each other for the sport of other people ain't humanitarian. What the fuck are you talking about? You fucking retarded. This Coliseum, nigga. This Coliseum. It's just like the Romans. Hey. Let me finish. It started with the Coliseum. It started with the Coliseum and the Romans. And who was the ones who fought? Who was the ones who fought in the Coliseum with the Romans? Slaves. Ain't no fucking humanitarian shit about this. Get the fuck out of here. And it's all color slaves. Slaves of all colors. But it's poor people.
Can I get in?
Poor people. Y'all fuckers retarded. Y'all all fake. It's a brutal sport. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. You should have stopped. Get the fuck out of here, you fake ass.
Yo, can I speak?
Look, let's do this. Let's conduct ourselves. Because I know Myron Magnus just came up here and pissed damn near everyone off. And I know that everybody has a retort for him. So let's go one at a time. That's beautiful. Let's go one at a time. So Nick and Lance has something to say.
I do too. Okay, I got something to say.
Smoke.
Okay, so let's go around.
I'm about to dip.
Nick says something. Nick, go after Smoke. Smoke, go. Then Nick, go.
All right, cool. I would just like to say, right, I understand exactly what he's saying about the brutality for our entertainment, right, and the moral conundrum that we face as combat sports fans, boxing and MMA, right? I understand exactly what he's talking about when it comes to the absolute part of it, right? We try to mitigate the part of it, and we also delight in the brutality. But some people actually like the Floyd Mayweather thing. Some people actually appreciate the sweet science. Not everybody is into the sport just for the knockout. Like there's a point there, like even Muhammad Ali, like he had this whole thing about where he was trying to just win fights, not necessarily brutalize a person, but the fans didn't respond well to those kinds of performances, right? The fans wanted to see the bloodlust. They wanted to see the blood. So, right, there's that part of it, but that's not every single fan. Some boxing fans really like the concept of hitting, not getting hit, and actually letting it go to the scorecards. I love Pernell Whitaker's 120 scorecards. Love those things. Like, I don't need to see knockouts every single time. And it's really one of the issues that I have about a few different kinds of fighters, the amount of brutality that is in the sport. Like there's a whole style of fighting that's centered around taking a bunch of punishment to give a bunch of punishment. That's not my preference.
All right. Okay. Nick, you up.
All right. So MMA wise, I love a great fight. I love fight of the night, the whole nine. But that doesn't have to do with, when MMA wise. It's grappling, it's all that stuff. When it comes to boxing, when you see a guy just taking a beating, you know what I mean, but taking it, you know what I mean, giving a little bit back, but taking it non-fucking stop. That's different than a quick knockout or caught him in the chin. He's done. You know what I mean? That's CTE at its finest. So that being said, at a certain time, like you were saying, D, before, the refs, the whoever, the medical team. They got to throw that towel. I know Buddy threw that in. You know what I mean? And I heard he wanted to stop that earlier, and he did not. And the fighter did not want to stop. You know what I mean? He wanted to keep going. But that's where the fucking shit gets twisted right there. That needs to be stopped no matter what. He's not in his right mind. He's just taking freaking shots to the dome for the last 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds, right? So I mean, how could you leave it up to the fighter in the corner to make that decision? And that's really what happened in that fight. Because Buddy could have stopped that 2 or 3 rounds beforehand. And I heard the reason why he really died was because he passed out, or somewhat passed out, right? In the corner or something like that, or walking back to the ring. And if they
walking out of the ring.
Yes, right? He should have never walked. I think he actually was getting his hand raised. So he should have went right back. That was why he actually passed away. You know what I mean? So there's a shitload of reasons why things should be different and whatnot. But like you were saying before, I'm not sure what your name was. I'm in to see a good fight. I don't care if it's a pity patter back and forth, a Mayweather fight. If it's a chess match, fucking love it. I don't need to see a homeboy get knocked the fuck out until he's into oblivion. No. Just like I don't need to see a knockout in MMA, a submission. You know what I mean? Come on. You're not in it for the violence. If you're in it for the violence, I'm so not so sure you're in it for the sport.
Right. First of all, I want to say something quickly because I've been quiet for ages.
Go ahead,
I don't agree with the stuff that when people say that Mark Breeland, he saved Wilder's life. I don't agree with that because Mark Breeland has been told several times, do not throw in that towel. You know what I mean? So he works for Deontay Wilder, so he needs to listen. Like if I work for D and D tells me something, I'm not gonna go against his will. I'm gonna honor that. So what he done was, he gone against his will. He thrown in that towel, and to be fair, he was still standing up. It's the referee's job, to stop the fight at that time.
Yeah.
Because Mark Breeland, he didn't get the permission to throw in that towel. Do you know what I mean? So I don't buy that shit. That whenever, like everyone's just saying that, oh, Mark Breeland saved his life, this, that. No, he never saved his life, man. Probably, maybe the referee was about to stop the fight. Anyway,
hold on before everybody else gets off onto another tangent. It was my turn next, right?
So,
real quick.
No, it was my turn next.
Hold on.
Guys, let me control this motherfucking panel, please. Let me do this.
Listen to D, guys.
Okay, now, Neo, I appreciate your passion, fam. Okay, I do. Go ahead, Neo, and then everybody, don't cut in. Let Unbiased and Battle Rifle get in this because they just stepped on the panel.
Absolutely.
Hold on, Neo. Let me say this. P Boxing and Myron Magnus are going to come in here and say shit that's going to piss most of the panel off. And I know you guys are going to be itching to respond, but let's conduct ourselves. So go ahead, Unbiased, and then my man Neo right after Unbiased. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, right? All right. So what I was saying is, as in being a humanitarian, is not seeing somebody get beat to death.
You come in with the max headroom electric.
Oh, my bad. Am I too loud?
No.
All right. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Not getting beat to death. All right. So we understand that boxing is a sport. Football is a sport. Like Sean Newton said, yeah, football players can get CTE, right? You can get hurt in the sport. We just want to see a competitive match. We don't want to see a competitive death. All right. That's the point that I was making. I don't think Myron understands that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If the fight can be stopped and the fighter doesn't have to take a life-changing beating to the point where he is on the verge of death, then let's prevent that. You know what I'm saying? That makes the most logical sense. Now, to what P Boxing just said, the referee was stopping the fight as Breeland was throwing in the towel. So the fight was being stopped no matter what. By the way, just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, not only that, so I didn't know that the towel was thrown until after the fact, like the next day. I thought the towel was actually thrown in. I thought the ref stopped the fight, and not only that, I thought the ref should stop the fight when Wilder just was sitting there on the ropes, not doing nothing, and Fury head faked, and then threw a shot and landed it clean, right? Like it's just like there's no resistance left there. So what's the point?
Hey, Smoke, remember when it was supposed to be Neo next?
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry.
Neo.
Appreciate it. All right. First of all, this is all in response to that dude. Myron, you said his name was?
Yeah.
I already knew he was a troll as soon as he came in. But
no, he's not a troll. That's just what Myron does. Myron actually has a channel. He's not a troll.
Okay. Oh, he's just provocative. I got you.
Yeah, very, very.
All right. I want y'all all to look at the man who's in my picture. Sonny Liston. That's the kind of fights I like. I am down for. I like the sweet science, but I love the brawlers. That's my shit. But that being said, I have seen too many wars where people end up going out, quote unquote, on their shields and they never come back. I may like the brawlers, but I want to see these men come back. That's why I'm of the opinion that as soon as that fight turns to where it is not being competitive and it is just doing damage to the other person, that shit needs to be stopped. And in my personal opinion, flat out, Wilder Tyson 2 was at that point. Wilder was not coming back. All it was going to be at that point was damage for damage's sake. And that's what I'm saying when I say I don't want the carnage. That's not what I'm there for. I'm there to see people competing, and it is a blood sport. And I do realize the hypocrisy of being a fan of the brawler side of things and being worried about people. But at the same time, there is a limit. And once you go past that limit, it is not entertaining anymore. Then it's just a slaughter. And I'm not in here to see a snuff film. I'm in here to see competition. And if it's not competitive and somebody's literally just dying out there, potentially, I don't want to see that. So I'm on Breeland's side, period. Breeland, in my mind, did the right thing. Whether his corner wanted him to or not. I'm done. That was what I had to say.
Battle rifle, battle rifle, battle rifle. What's up, battle rifle?
How you doing, D? How y'all doing? Yeah, yeah, that's good. I think here's the thing. The ref is in charge of the fights. So usually, if they decide that a fight is not good, if they decide a fight is not in the boxer's best interest to go on, then they should stop the fight. You do not send a fighter in there to essentially just getting beat to a pulp. That's not how things work. So when it comes to fights like that, I think the referee in his corner made the right decision. Now, me personally, if I'm just throwing my opinion in, I believe that maybe Wilder had some different different disagreements with Mark Breeland to why he split with him, because I remember he came up with a tweet that before the whole Black Lives Matter and the protesting, and he said that I lost the fight. I didn't feel as 100%, and I feel like there was something wrong with my team that I will get fixed and I will come back stronger. Then he put his name Deontay Wilder. So I think it might have been other disagreements.
All right. So I wanted to say this to the shit with Pete Boxing. Oh, he done stepped off. To this nonsense Pete Boxing was saying, about Breeland and the damn referee Skip Bayless. Look, check this out, man. Oh, Kenny Bayless. Whether it was Breeland or whether it was Kenny Bayless that got in there. I just said this before Pete came up here with the foolishness. It is all of their jobs to keep the fighter safe. And the dumb shit that Myron said about the doctor after the fact, that was dumb as shit too. Because when you watch the Matthias fight, the Subriel Matthias, that's the guy that actually killed Maxim Dadashev. Every round after the third round, during the fucking fight, Myron Magnus, you idiot, the doctor was checking out his eyes. This is not after the fact. They have actually stepped up the precautions. One thing I will say about fans, remember in football, anybody that knows about football, remember when they changed the rules for the quarterback safety? They changed the rules for the lineman and the running back and linebacker safety. Fans bitched and moaned about it, but overall we understood it's a high impact sport. They changed the rules to keep these guys fucking safe. So we still enjoy the sport with the understanding that they're doing what they can do to keep these guys safe. I don't think that it's barbaric for any of us to watch a sport, or unhumane for any of us to watch a sport with the understanding that it's a sport and there's an element of danger. Hang gliding is a sport. Base jumping is a sport. What happened if the fucking hang glider goes faulty or the goddamn parachute doesn't work? These people can die, but they're still sports. These are still things people, X Games is a sport. These motherfuckers are taking those bikes fucking 30, 40 feet in the air and doing flips. What happened if they come down and land wrong? It could be all over with, right? NASCAR is a fucking sport. My favorite driver ever, Dale Earnhardt Sr., was killed driving a car.
Yeah.
There is an element of danger to these sports, but that does not make us barbaric or inhumane because we choose to watch them. That was pure foolishness.
So you said NASCAR, the actual spectators can die too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I just I want to say with boxing.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. With boxing, what we need to do is I think there's nothing worse in boxing, in my opinion, than seeing a mismatch. Some of these mismatches you see are just straight up sad. Like my favorite fighter, he fought a guy in his last fight who had no business being in the ring with him. And this is the kind of fights where people get killed, man. I think Wilder, he needs to, step down a couple levels in boxing, because let's face it, he's not a top fighter. He's
You just said you want to see him die. Like you just said you want to see Fury kill.
But I've been
now you're switching up.
rethinking things.
Like, bro,
I was
you're just an
rethinking
idiot.
things. Hold up, man.
Reprogram yourself. You sound like a computer. Go reprogram yourself.
Go ahead.
Yeah. As I was saying, Myron, look, some of us we love to see a brutal fight, but let's just be pragmatic here. If Wilder died that night, boxing would have probably, man, the sport would have been fucked up badly. People would be calling for it to be banned.
That's a fact.
A whole lot of shit like that.
Sure.
Rules would have had to be changed. Promoters would have done things a lot differently, man. So, just think practically here, man. If he did die, it ain't gonna come without a lot of consequences for the sport.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
One thing I wanted to say when it comes to like MMA and in boxing, what I've realized is they're stopping things in MMA a lot sooner sometimes than they should be. You know what I mean?
Boxing too.
You know what I mean? There's shit. I didn't know that. Not you fuckers.
Yeah.
That being not you guys, fucking dogs. That being said, I mean I've seen from me, I from what I've watched is they're not stopping it in enough, or you know what I mean? When there's like someone just said it's a landslide beating. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like MMA, they would stop that shit right away.
Jose Aldo, Peter Yan.
Because there's always the other side of it, right? There's like I grew up, we used to get the Box Nation English fights, right, coming up, and they would stop things. They were just a lot more humane about the whole approach to the sports. Like it used to be super brutal over here and way more polite and genteel over there, right? But then you get the Wilder Fury thing, right? So if that same fight was in England, that would have been stopped.
Yeah,
right. It would have been a completely different history being talked about. But instead, we got to see the rise, the whole Undertaker narrative, and he won the rest of the round and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, you
So
thought Fury should?
it cuts both ways.
Real quick, you thought I misunderstood. You thought that when Wilder knocked Fury down, it should have been done.
I'm saying in that 12th, right? That 12th round,
11.
If that had happened in the UK, they would have waved that fight off. It would have just been done. Right, that just a different mentality about how.
Why would they wave their own fighter off? Why would they let him?
Because it's not about their own fighters. They do it with their own fighters all the time. It's just the way that they approach the sport. They stop fights a little bit earlier than we do, right? And sometimes
I don't agree with that. I think they would.
Hold on, Nick. Let him finish right quick.
Right. It's just a different kind of it's a different sentiment when it comes to the sport, right? They just in generally speaking, like sure there's favoritism and all that stuff, but I'm just saying the way that they approach it, especially when it comes to stoppages, it's a lot more towards fighter safety.
All right, go ahead, Nick. What would you get ready to say?
I think in wherever that fight was, it would have went on the same.
No. I think. Well, I don't think so, Nick. Because in boxing, this is the thing. You got many different referees, right? And one rule in boxing is that it's.
So you think an English referee would have let him get back up, or not let him get back up?
No. Hold on. I'm explaining it to you. Let me get it out. They have. It's at the referee's discretion. Now, I said, and I'm a Fury fan, and I said this in the first Fury fight when Wilder knocked him down. Even Fury said it. He was knocked out for like 5 seconds. His eyes was gone, right? When a referee sees that, a lot of times they should just wait and fight off, because that is the type of thing that can get a fighter killed. But what I try to tell these Wilder fans, that in the defense of that referee, it was the 12th round. And it won't gonna be but like 23 more seconds of any kind of beating happening. So he used his discretion to let the man get up and continue to fight. This is why it's at the referee's discretion. Now, had Wilder knocked him down and his eyes rolling up back like that, and it's the 7th round, then no, don't let that guy get back up. But this is when the referees have to decide. This is why you have cornermen, referees, and doctors, and between all three of them, they decide if it's still safe to fight. It's not just one. It's not just the corner man. It's not just the ref. It's all three of them, and they decide.
But also,
real quick, before I forget, I'm a stoner.
Yeah,
I mean, once his head hit the canvas, I mean, it was basically it's like he woke it back up. Like it happens in MMA all the time. They'll get knocked down to their ass, and their head hits canvas. They wake right back up. You know what I mean?
Nah, but it won't right back, fam. He was gone for like a good 5
I mean, there was
seconds.
what? How many? When he got up, how many seconds left in the fight were there?
Yeah, it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Round.
He
It was
came
early
back
in the round.
and won that
Yeah,
round.
it was all. Well, he came back at the last minute and run the round, but there was also another minute before that. Before the
In the
comeback.
UK, they wouldn't count it out.
That's not really my point. but that's not really what I'm saying. Yeah, in the UK they would have waved that off. That's really what I'm saying to you is that after 3 decades, and it's exactly what D said. But I'm saying that there's also different mentalities and different cultures when it comes to it. Boxing is a worldwide sport. Yeah. We have a different approach to it, especially ending a fight, than they do. And I appreciate it. Like sometimes I feel like it's a little bit early, but you can't really name UK fights where you go like, man, that's so brutal. They should have just stopped that way early. Like they said they stopped it too late.
But you know what?
Real quick,
he didn't take any shots. I'm gonna forget. He didn't take any shots up until. I mean, he didn't take a beating up until that he got knocked down. So I mean, it was
anybody under the age of 45. I think we're off topic. Hold on. No. Anybody under the age of 45 might not understand this, or you might. But anybody over the age of 45 might understand this. You go back to like the 50s and look at those fights and watch how these guys was getting pummeled in the fucking corner. Yeah. And I guarantee you would appreciate what the referees do today. Some guys were standing up fucking out, literally out on their feet, and the ref was standing there watching guys pound the fuck out of them.
Yep.
I like that.
Hold on. Let me finish this. Then you can appreciate a referee actually jumping in there and stopping the fight, okay? Because here's the reality of it. None of us know when that next punch is the wrong punch. None of us know that.
Can I quickly say something? I like the 50s what they were doing because you know what? That was the real fight. That was real boxing. That's what we watch boxing for.
That was
the brutality.
That
you know what I mean?
We just went over this.
There's a difference between boxing and fighting. Boxing is the sweet science. You know, there's more to it than fighting. Yes, boxing is a fight, but a fight is not always boxing. You know, it's boxing. I look at it more. How do I say it, man? You know, yeah, we want to see some violence, but at the same time, there's more to it than just that. I mean, if you just want to see violence, I mean, go look up someone getting killed online or something. I don't know.
Right. I kind of want to say something to
in Minecraft.
Get the smoke.
Go ahead about him.
In Minecraft, yeah.
He mentioned that he mentioned that you only you don't really see British fights going that far, and I agree. Like that doesn't really happen. I think the only time I've seen a fight just going way too far was maybe the ref just didn't really notice. But you remember the Kovalev and the Cleverly fight when he had to carry him back to his corner.
Oh,
like that was. I think that was the only time I remember that was just it was too far.
Was that the UK? I don't remember where that fight took place. Was it in Germany?
It was in the UK.
That's horrible.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, that was one. Definitely.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And this is why I say
going too far.
It's at the referee's discretion, right? So here's the thing. You got judges that sit there and score these fights 109 to 119. Lomachenko, Teofimo. They're out of their fucking mind, right? So you also have referees that just don't know when to pull the trigger sometimes. And we're humans, fam. These referees inside that ring, they're not all uniform. They're not fucking robots. They're human. So sometimes you see fucking mistakes. But just realize that it was a mistake. They shouldn't have let the fight go that long. And one thing I wanted to say, I don't even remember whose comment it was. I think maybe L-Dog or whatever. One of the things that's probably least dangerous is one of these one-punch knockouts. Like,
yes,
right. Accumulated
damage. Let me finish. Let me fucking finish this thought. Like what we saw happen to Leo Santa Cruz, freaking Dillian White here recently. Those are actually least dangerous than somebody getting pummeled for 10 rounds. Those are the dangerous fights when a guy's just getting beaten mercilessly. When we go back to the Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn fight, no, Jeff Horn wasn't off his feet, but that was an excellent stoppage because Terrence Crawford was just teeing off on this guy's head. That is the shit that get people killed, not these one-punch knockouts. I don't think that we have a whole lot of deaths from one-punch knockouts. The shit that happened with fucking Adonis Stevenson. Bosdick was fucking pummeling him. Punch after punch after punch. Those are the things that get guys killed. So this is why we have to lean on these doctors and the corners and the officials to pay attention to that. All we're doing is watching the sport. We're not trained on that, you know?
If I could just,
let me say something quickly.
if I could just jump in also, where fans seem to be a bit hypocritical when it comes to this whole, fighter safety thing. It is just, the Wilder's Ortiz won that, round 7. How they said the doctor was saving, protecting Wilder, and the fix was in because he was checking him to make sure he's all right. And also in this last fight, the TO, right? They're saying that the doctor was saving Loma from getting knocked out in the 12th when he's stopping him to make sure to do his eye. Like at a certain point, either the guys are going to be able to do their jobs, or it's like a big conspiracy to protect guys.
Right, it's no conspiracy. I don't believe in the fucking conspiracy to protect guys. That's safety. That's the safety that we need to accept so that these guys don't die in the ring. Go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna say something, yeah. Jack Reese, yeah. If he was the referee in the second fight, yeah, I honestly think he wouldn't stop the fight. I honestly think Jack Reese would have just let it go because he let Fury get up. So, in my opinion, I think Jack Reese would have said, "Look, he's still there. He's still standing up. He's still alive." You know what I mean? So, I think it's about the referees as well. That's why I think. Like, what do you guys think? Anyway, do you think Jack Reese would have stopped the fight at that time?
You're missing a critical point here, and that's that the towel was thrown in.
Oh, no. Forget about the towel. Let's forget about the towel, though. If the towel wasn't thrown in.
You can't forget about the towel, Pete. When the towel's thrown in, yes, he would. That's exactly
that means.
See, all right. So at a certain point, you got to be okay with getting fired, right? So if the job is reprehensible to you, if it's outside of your moral boundaries or your ethical boundaries, then be okay with being fired. If a guy says to you, "If you're on my team, I'm out here talking about catching bodies. So if you're on my team, let me go out on my shield and let the refs do the job and let the doctors do it. But you don't do it because you represent me, right?" So you go out there, you're cashing checks with that understanding, and then in the moment you're like, nah. Or you never was on board with it in the first place.
Yeah, but
I would be okay with that.
You got to be okay with being fired in certain circumstances.
Absolutely.
Hold on. But the issue is the issue is the ref was already waving it off. So if you're looking at it from that point, then why would you fire him when the ref was already waving it off? The ref's back was already, he couldn't even see the towel being thrown. He was waving the fight off.
Kenny Bayless said it. He said he was waving it off, and then he noticed that the towel was thrown. Kenny Bayless
But you see, that's a crab in the bucket referee.
Yeah, but let me tell you something here. Because the third fight, wait. The third fight, he don't want him to be there no more because he can't trust him anymore. He broke the trust. It doesn't matter, if the referee is about to stop the fight. I told you don't throw in that towel several times. You should know better. You know what I mean? Now I can't trust you anymore. That's why I'm gonna hire somebody else.
Okay, Pete Boxing.
Apollo Creed sitting in the corner.
Pete Boxing. If Wilder tells the referee, "I don't give a fuck what happened, don't stop this fight." If he tells the doctors on the side of the ring, "I don't give a fuck what, don't stop this fight," you think they're gonna listen?
No. I'm not talking about the referee. I'm talking about Mark Breeland.
No, I got more to this. Do you think they're gonna listen? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No, they're doing their job.
Okay, Pete. This is why they're not gonna listen, because it's their job to save the fighters from themselves, which is the same responsibility that Breeland had. Okay, a lot of fighters want to continue because they have what's called heart, Pete.
Everyone will say, "Don't throw it in."
Pete, do not cut me off. Fighters need to be saved from themselves because they have heart. Okay, but heart will get you killed. So it is Breeland's job. I said this plenty of times, Pete, but you must not be listening. It is the job of the cornerman, it is the job of the official, and it is the job of the doctors to stop the fight when it needs to be fight, regardless of a fighter wanting to go out on their shield or keep showing heart when they're getting beaten to a point when the fight needs to be stopped. That is their job, fam.
Right. Let me get up in here real quick because I've been quiet for a while.
Go ahead.
I want to address something that you were saying earlier about the accumulated damage, because I 100% agree, and that's exactly what my point was earlier as well. 100. It's the accumulated damage, not the one-punch knockouts. That's when it starts getting dangerous, is when these fights keep going on too long. And I know I've mentioned it 2 or 3 other times just in this stream, but for anybody that wants to know why it's better to stop fights when it's accumulated damage like that instead of just letting it keep going. Watch Lopez Abdusalamov from like 5 years ago. I watched that fight live and I was captivated. I was watching my screen like, this is the most brutal, insane shit I've ever seen. How the fuck are these two guys still standing there hitting each other? They won't stop. They won't stop. Their faces look like fucking hamburger. And then Abdusalamov was almost out a couple times, but he kept in there and would not go down and just kept getting hit in the fucking face till his face was twice the size it used to be. And then after that, he gets a fucking brain bleed, and now he's stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. That's why we need to protect the boxers from the accumulated damage. It's not the one punch knockouts. It's whenever they just keep getting teed off in the head. That's why I was worried about. That's why I was worried about that Wilder fight, and I don't blame Breeland because it didn't go that way, thank God. But it was starting to look that way. People shit on Fury's power, but he came into that fight bigger and stronger as far as muscle than he's ever been before. He came in there to knock him the fuck out or do as much damage as he could. That fight needed to be stopped.
So the referee should stop the fight.
Okay, hold on. Barry Coote,
he did.
Hold on, yo. Barry Coote says the first rule of boxing: protect yourself at all time. If they let Wilder die in the boxing, if they let Wilder die, the boxing would be banned. Now, somebody alluded to this earlier, and this is the thing: we sit there and let Wilder go out on his shield, or we sit there and listen to Wilder. Breeland sits there and listen to Wilder. This is not a false statement. You actually put the whole sport that we love in jeopardy.
Exactly.
You literally put the whole sport that we love in jeopardy by listening to Wilder's dumbass about going out on his fucking shield. So this is why these people are in place, so that we don't lose our sport, so that people don't die. And even though these people are in place, people still die. So we can't be coming down on people that would potentially have prevented a death. We can't do this.
What about okay? Listen. What about the referee then? Can the referee not stop the fight?
He was He was already stopping the fight, and Bayless admitted this himself. This is your fucking problem, dog. You get up here and you keep fucking trying to push your fucking points, but you don't listen to nothing nobody else is saying.
No. My point is,
hold on.
Listen to P boxing.
Stopping the goddamn fight. He was stopping the fight, P. And then he turned around and noticed that the towel was thrown. What are you asking us here?
Okay, can I say something quickly? Can I quickly say something? My point is basically, Mark Breeland has been told don't do it, okay? The referee is about to stop anyway. So why did he go against? The referee is about to stop. So he basically reacted.
He doesn't know what the referee's thinking. He's not in the referee's head. All he sees is his fighter getting damaged, and he wants it to stop because it's up to him as well. It's up to the corner as well, regardless of what the boxer wants. The trainers and everybody are in there, or at least they should be in a lot of cases, to keep their fighter from being disabled and not able to fight again.
Hold on a second.
It should be okay to lose his job.
Just hold on 1 second, Pete. And just to address Myron and to piggyback off what D was talking about, protecting the sport. That was a pay-per-view event. If there was just a death on there, I don't think that would have increased the viewership for the next pay-per-view and the next thing. I don't think that would have been like, oh yeah, let's go watch another death. I don't think that that's what people are signing up for and paying their money for.
Times have changed, man. People back in the gladiator days, they used to live till maybe 40 if they were lucky. They'd see people die left, right, and center. These days, when you see someone die, it's a big thing, man. We have funerals and whatever. Back in the day, it was probably just like
tomorrow I'm in the corner.
And just to make a fine point, boxing, if you're gonna say it, that pugilism, right, is Greek, not Roman. And it was done at weddings and shit, and it was part of a sport and entertainment, not life and death. Gladiators is some different shit with weapons and stuff. We keep making this thing about gladiators and Romans, but that's not really what boxing is.
Which Myron should know that concept, Smoke, because he calls himself the boxing pugilist.
I'm about to go. I want to say
You
something
really
before I go.
understand that concept if you're the fucking pugilist,
D,
Myron Madness.
And that's a body.
D, I'm about to go. Let me say something quickly. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, guys.
I completely disagree that if Wilder would have died in that fight, I don't think boxing would have been banned, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, they signed a contract. You know, it is what it is. You know, things happen. Patrick Day, he passed away, and a couple of guys, I can't remember their name last year, they passed away. God bless their soul. So boxing is still not banned. So I don't agree. Completely disagree. Boxing would have still gone on. So
my point is, that doesn't increase viewership to your next fight.
But anyway,
no one's going like, oh, that guy kills people.
Those fights were nowhere near as big as Wilder, so that's not even comparable. You didn't have millions and millions and millions of people watching those fights. You're not thinking. You're just trying to piss people off.
Guys,
I got a question for
let me say this. P-Boxing always gets on this panel and says the most god-awful, ridiculous shit concerning Wilder. So don't be too surprised. He always does this. This is not even anything new. He does this all the time.
I got a question for Midgard. Did you see the Top Rank fight, the card?
Which one? I'm not. It's hard for me sometimes to track which promotion, which fight are you talking about?
Well, honestly, I can't remember their names. It was two fighters that fought before, Michaela Myers and the Polish chick, and my God, like that, it was one of those fights.
I think I was asleep for that. I passed the fuck out because we were up late night talking about the fights from the previous night. We were up talking about those, and I passed the fuck out.
Yeah, it was one of those fights where I was just like, that fight is brutal. Like something needs to happen, but they end up being okay. I think there was, they hugged each other and whatnot, but that was a brutal fight. I was just like my God, they were throwing bombs.
Thank God they were okay.
That was I know a fight. I can't remember those guys' name either, but yeah, bro, they was wailing on each other. Both of them were bloody at round 10 and shit, or I think round 6 or something. They was wailing on each other. That was a crazy fight, but I don't know, man. It's just like this. The thing I say is this: get those doctors to, when they're flashing the light in those guys' eyes, they're doing that for a reason, fam. I don't know what people are thinking. They think formality or routine that they sit there and they wave their fingers from left to right. They're looking at their eyes for a reason, and if their eyes don't tell them what the doctor needs to speak. That doctor outside the ring don't give two shits about Wilder wanting to go out on his shield. They will stop the fight, okay? And ever since we had these 3 deaths last year, you guys pay attention to something. Look at how much more active these doctors are in boxing. They're stopping guys in between rounds all the time now, much more frequently than they were last year. So they're trying to preserve life here. And that's what it's really about. A sport is about entertainment. It's a sport is not about people dying, fam. They're trying to preserve life here. So we gotta understand this.
You know what I don't get, D, is these so-called Deontay Wilder fans that are basically pissed off that Breeland didn't allow Deontay Wilder to die at the ring. How are you a fan of Deontay Wilder, but you wanted to see him get basically beat to death? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you want to see prolong his career so he could come back to the ring and give you more fights? You fucking idiot.
And I'm biased. That's why I started the whole joke and the whole troll of me saying I agree the fight shouldn't have been stopped. Wilder said he wanted to die in the ring. I think we should let him. Because I was basically making fun of all his idiotic supporters who think like, oh, yeah, I'm a Wilder fan, don't stop the fight. He wants it. Like, come on, man. You want to see the guy get killed? I mean, half of them are too stupid to actually rationalize that their guy was going to get killed. But,
the idea that the him throwing in the towel should be at all referenced for getting fired, right? There's any number of reasons why I think people would find reasonable that Wilder would fire Breeland, right? I think that people would find it reasonable if he fired everybody in his corner, right? But to actually reference the towel is the issue, right? The only thing you can say about it is, this is what I pay you to do, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to do that, right? You just can say, I don't want to be paid by you anymore. I expect to not be paid by you anymore if you have an issue with this.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like say you need surgery or something. You don't tell the surgeon, "Hey, this is how I want you to do it." They're just gonna say, "No, too bad. Like I can't do it like that." You know. It's the same with a boxing fan, a boxing trainer. You know, if you tell them don't throw in the towel, there will come a point where maybe it's oh shit, I actually have to throw in the towel to save this guy's life. You know, I don't care about the repercussions.
Sorry, that doesn't actually stand up. You can go find a surgeon that will do what you want.
Money.
Like
Hey, I want let Nick jump in here right quick. Little tribute, a tribute right quick. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, tomorrow is my mother's anniversary of her passing, Linda Harrington. Rest in peace. Best mom on earth. Everybody here that's on the panel, whether we agree or not, you tell you love me, you love me every freaking night.
God bless. R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Fight fans says Wilder got fucked up so bad in the
R.I.P.,
Fury
man.
fight. We went to the tank fight with his coat on his back. Oh my God, that coat was ugly as shit, Wilder. I didn't even read that comment before I put it up. But yeah, he was fucked up, man. He was fucked up. Wilder's fans use Wilder for the pride. They are prepared to see him die for their pride. And you know, that's the sad part of some fans. That they sit there and they talk about, no, let him fight, let him fight, let him fight. And basically you saying, no, let him possibly get killed, let him possibly get killed, let him possibly get killed. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
We gotta understand that sometimes it's just enough punishment, man. You can't keep getting that head banged around like that.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, it is. It's one of the things about Wilder that is part of his thing, right? It's specifically him. Whether you like it or dislike it, this is one of the things that he is a proponent of. And you apparently you're supposed to be down with that. Like for me, I think JD's sounds completely unhinged when he is on board with it, right? But he's a dude that's saying, yeah, I'm on board with it. JD's didn't throw in the towel. JD's was mad that Breeland. It's not just Wilder who was mad at Breeland for throwing in the towel. The other trainer was mad at Breeland for throwing in the towel, right? So, like for me, that's not what I'm looking for in the sport. I'm hoping that they can figure out some other kind of way to be, right? But it doesn't seem like they're going down the path.
Bro, it's been sometimes like when I was doing on MMA fights, I'm on the panel over there with Nick and the guys at Pub Sports, right? And even before they was on Pub Sports, I used to be over there with them on Oz HQ, right? Here's the thing.
We call it the other channel.
Yeah, it was times when me, Nick, and everybody on the panel was like, what the fuck y'all doing? Stop the goddamn fight, stop the fight, stop the motherfucking fight. Because these guys were taking too much punishment, right? So it immediately gets into a lot of real fans. Like, we want to see a guy lose. And I think that, like Smoke says, some guys respect the technical side of it. Some guys want to see the knockouts. But I don't think most of us on there are adverse to seeing knockouts. But when we saw the guy getting beat the shit out of, we was like, stop the fight, because I don't want to see a knockout so bad where I see somebody potentially die.
Yeah, they're in their ass whoop. They're
I don't
out
wanna
of it
see
already.
I don't want to see
10 extra shots.
Hey, let me get in real quick. Like, one thing I wanted to say as well on the point of what we're talking about with the the refs and the stoppages and knockouts and damage. A good fight, like I'm talking like a good fight front to back, the fighters are on point, the corners are on point, the refs on point, is like a beautiful fucking dance. And what I mean by that is it's all these pieces moving correctly together. You got the ref moving together, you got the fighters moving, you got everything is just working like a well-oiled machine, and it's a beautiful thing. But that beauty can turn real horrible real quick if it's not managed. If you got somebody in there who's not watching.
Also, you think that the bigger the gloves are, right? I mean, obviously it's the heavier hand. That all those shots taken when it comes to boxing makes a big difference when in terms of if you want to reverse it on MMA. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, let me put it this way. I've in some previous panels I've said I personally don't really watch MMA that much. I have absolute respect for it. I would never knock it. I'm more of a fan of boxing, but that's part of why is because that was one of the first things I noticed was, I will say this, I think if you take out the like force advantage that a boxer will have based on the fact that their offense is explicitly based on their fists only, they'll probably have a bit of like a leverage advantage. But because of the smaller gloves, I see MMA fighters' faces actually being broken, fucked up a lot more than I see boxers' faces.
Yeah.
The boxer's face will get beat to shit, but an MMA fighter will literally break someone's face.
To reverse that, I mean, not all they don't want a knockout. It's submission. You know what I mean? They get wrestled and stuff. So, I mean, submission is probably 30-40% right now.
Right.
35%.
Justin Gaethje just passed out.
Yeah.
Khabib Nurmagomedov choked him out, and for a brief second there, he was laid over there, passed out, just like any boxer that would be knocked out.
Yep.
Right.
Not one punch. No. Yeah. It wasn't from one strike.
No, it wasn't from one strike. And here's the reality of it. And this is what I keep saying. I want to see guys. I'm not going to sit up here and act holier than thou. I want to see guys get stopped. That shit is exciting to me, right?
Of course.
Yep.
But at the same time, I want it to be in a fashion where they get to go back home and kiss their kids goodnight.
Yeah.
Right? I don't
exactly.
want to see a guy get stopped and then they're in the fucking hospital like Adonis Stevenson, and we're praying if he comes back around to the point where he can speak to his family. Now, God bless Adonis Stevenson because that happened for him.
It did.
He was fucking gone for a while. He was gone. He was a vegetable damn near, right? But he came back around. That's a blessing. But do we want to see guys go home like that over and over and over again? Even if they don't die, do we want to see them go through that Adonis Stevenson? Do we want their families to go through?
Of course not.
Hell no.
Come on, bro. Like that. Now that is barbaric. That's inhumane. If that's what you desire, and I don't think any of us desire that. So when we got people like Boxing Logic Unitas calling us this and that and the third, bro, that's just. It's not true and it's insincere because none of us desire that shit.
Nope.
If that happened, I'm a man, bro. I'm fucking thirsty. You know what I mean? I'll shed tears for that. You know what I mean? Something like that happened. That's not something I want to see.
I tell you what, too, on that MMA thing I was talking about earlier with how I don't watch it as much, that shit, the first MMA fight I saw, I will tell you right now, scared the shit out of me because I was a boxing fan and the man hit the ground and the dude jumped on him and started beating his face into the ground. I was like, oh, he's down. Oh, shit. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was seeing.
How many years ago?
That was like probably 2 or 3 years ago. I've been watching boxing for like 7-8 years, but I didn't really pay attention to an MMA fight until like I knew they fought on the ground, but I'd never watched it happen, and it was fucking brutal. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I can rock with this.
No, I feel you.
It was not that much longer after I saw that Abdul Salamov fight, so that was probably part of it. I was like, oh my god, I'm afraid for that dude on the ground.
You know what? Aaron says Gaethje tapped a few times before the ref separated, which is true. But this is something that I think fans tend to forget too. They forget it with the officials, and they also forget it with the judges. They don't have the camera angles we have, son.
Yeah, he thought he was punching
inside the ring, and sometimes they can't see this tap here or see that. We can see it clearly because we have all these camera angles, right? And sometimes they just can't see that.
What he thought was that instead of tapping, he was trying to punch. You know what I mean?
Right.
And afterwards, obviously, he realized it was wrong. But yeah, you know what I mean?
But one thing about a chokeout, I'll tell you this: a chokeout's nowhere near as dangerous.
No, you come back. Blood choke, air choke, you come back. You're fine.
Look, when we was younger, me and the boys and shit, we used to wrestle and shit. Dog, I ain't even gonna lie. Sometimes we would choke each other out on purpose. Nobody ever had brain damage or none of that shit. But you try getting knocked out over and over again on purpose, you're going to end up like Riddick Bowe, slurring on every fucking word you goddamn say. You know what I mean? It's a difference. Like it's
Ali. End up like Ali.
You know what I mean?
I kind of want to say something just because I like to stir up stuff. But apparently Wilder went on an interview with Fred Barbershop Conversation saying that he had proof that Fury cheated. Now I don't.
I'm gonna pee real quick.
Keep going. All right. Just the thing, Battle Rifle. They all say that there's proof. Pete get up here every goddamn day talking about there's proof. There's proof. But listen, if there is proof, prove it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you have proof Prove it. How do you
Where-
prove it? You go take this motherfucker to court and
Exactly.
you sue him for more. These motherfuckers talk about, because he can still make money. Well, if this really happened to you, you could sue for probably more money than you would make in the boxing ring and be safe doing it. You're not going to take any punches and you'll get the lawsuit. Granted, give them $100 million. They tried to kill him. So if you have proof, prove it.
So I think they, those dudes maybe don't understand the meaning of the words that they use. Maybe they mean evidence, not proof, right? And then because definitely they didn't mean autopsy, right? So maybe really what it is evidence that may or may not prove, right? I think that's what what he is saying was basically the shape of the dent in his head led him to believe, right? Leads him to conclude.
You're probably right. I might have misquoted.
Right?
It's probably evidence.
How about fucking egg weights? Get out of here, man.
What is it?
You hit me with an egg weight.
He said a shape consistent with, right?
Yeah, but so look.
Hey, what was your name that didn't like the got turned off MMA? Oh, I'm sorry. What was your name?
Neo.
Come to Pop Sports Radio and we go live on Saturdays.
Yeah.
You have a lot of fun, I promise you.
Oh yeah.
See this boot right here?
Nick, put your. Yeah, he did a shoey.
Shoey? I did 4 shoeys last night. That's where I poured this entire fucking beer. And this fucking thing, it's my dad's roofing boot, okay? And,
oh my goodness.
It ain't like a new boot, but
man.
I'm gonna tell you
we had a lot of fun.
I'm glad Justin Gaethje didn't win because I wouldn't have any mustache. Nick would have a big slash through his eyebrow.
Yeah, you're oh my god.
I had a mustache. We all picked on that fight that night because it was one guy on the panel that picked Justin Gaethje, and I said, okay, well, I'll get into it. And I would have had to shave my mustache off and just all of us would have been looking crazy the next day, dog. Just put it that way.
Oh man. I put my entire account on Khabib when he went down to minus 270. I'm like, no, he was at 370, 360. I'm like, that you can't, you know what I mean? But that's a whole nother dollar. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I put the whole entire bank account.
Saved all our ass, so we would have all been looking stupid as shit.
That was the funniest shit. I forgot about that until now, D. I swear to God, until you brought that up.
Y'all got it. If you're interested in MMA or you want to get interested in MMA, Nick, put your link in the chat. Y'all got to get over to Pub Sport. It's always a blast. Like, we have fun on my lives. Trust me, it's fun over there. But the bigger thing on their lives is you can win money. People always win money over there.
We're making a lot of money.
Do live bets. They give you tips on bets before the fights. Like, it's excellent, bro. You get a bunch of viewpoints. You know, everybody is not yes men over there. They're not all agreeing with each other. Some guys are picking different guys. But you just got to go with the breakdowns. But one thing's for sure, I've never been over to any of their lives, whether it was on Oz HQ or Pub Sports, where it was not people winning money. So if you want to get in the MMA, you want to win some cash, you want to have fun, hit up Pub Sports, go see my man Boston Nick, Mo Scream, Jeff, Preston, Billy
Briz,
Mills, my man Mills.
Yeah.
I got everybody.
It's a lot of fun, guys. I promise, a lot of fun. And if you gamble a little bit, you know what I mean? And if you don't, mybookie.ag, you can use, if you use Pub Sports as a code. If you use Bitcoin, you'll get a 100% match bonus up to $1,000. So if you put $1,000 in, you're gonna get $2,000. And
I want to tell you something, Nick. I want to tell you something. And I didn't want to say it on the live because I don't want to fuck up what you guys are doing. But I wouldn't suggest the whole Bitcoin shit.
Then do the 50% match. If you use a debit credit
it's not
card,
about the money in the match. It's the Bitcoin.
you have to roll it over.
It's a scam. Like,
Okay.
this
Then
whole
do the
Bitcoin
debit credit card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
I
got a
don't even
50%
suggest
match
people
bonus.
to fuck with Bitcoin at all. All right, they've already been sued a couple of times. They've already been found to have scammed
Really?
millions, hundreds of millions of dollars already, right? Like, I just don't want to suggest that people we all hardworking guys here.
Then
right?
use your
I don't
debit
think
credit card. All
anybody
right.
on YouTube or that be on these lives, I don't think any of us are stinking rich. Some of us might be, in a comfortable position, but I don't think any of us are stinking rich. So I don't really want to suggest something that I don't trust, and I don't trust Bitcoin. Not
No, I
one.
got you. Then you can use your debit or credit card, and you'll get a 50% match bonus. So if you put in 500, you're gonna get 750 to play with. You know what I mean? Or you put 1,000. You know what I mean? You're gonna get when you do the math. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's up to 1,000.
Hey, let me ask you something, Nick, because I'm thinking about getting away from Bovada anyway, because
that's my main book, by the way.
Yeah, but how good is the pub? Because Bovada got such good odds and shit. They give you.
For MMA, it's if you want to know the truth, Bovada is the best.
What about for boxing? Is Pub Sports good for boxing?
Oh, you mean mybookie.ag?
Yeah, MyBookie, yeah.
I have to check it.
Yeah, okay.
I have to check it. I haven't loaded up on there yet. I mean, I have 4 books right now, so it's like fuck. You know what I mean?
Bovada is excellent for boxing, bro. They even have the obscure fights on there, like fighters that people don't know much about. They got no fights on the card. So.
They have your group round bets that you like.
Yes, I love them.
I don't think mybookie.ag has those, but their lines when it comes to a straight up bet, like when it comes to a football bet or a MMA bet, are better than Bovada, like a straight up bet. That's for sure.
All
so
right.
it's like tick tack, tick for tack type
I'm
thing.
a parlay guy, so I probably better stick with Bovada because I like my.
Or
I like
get
my
multiple
betting,
books.
Get
more than one book. You know what I mean? If you're gambling, any guys gamble here or no?
Yeah, some people. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't. I always send the gamblers to Pub Sports. Always.
Last night, no distance. We hit 10 out of 11 or 12 no distance.
See there, guys. I'm telling you, you can win some bread over there. I always see people winning money. We had one guy over there. I can't remember his name, Nick. You'll probably remember. He won 10,000. He listened to you guys, and he placed the bet right before it.
Oh yeah,
$10,000. Remember that night? I was like, holy shit! So I'm telling you guys.
I think it was a parlay that we put together for him.
Yeah.
And he put 10 G's
He
on it.
bet big on it, but he cashed in $10,000 on that
Yeah.
shit.
Oh yeah, he put two to win 10. That's what it was. 2,000 to win 10. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm telling you, big fun.
And most of all, it's all about betting. It's fucking we have a fucking. I'm not hammered right now. I mean, I can keep drinking all night, but you'll see me fucking hammered. If you want to see a fucking costume from last night, go look at it. You'll fucking.
Jeff, they do so well that their bookies held them back. They say y'all can't bet but so much. Y'all fucking killing us, fam.
I was wearing a purple tutu last night.
And a wig.
And a wig. With silver eyelashes, makeup, the whole fucking nine. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, man. I just love combat sports, Jeff, but I can't lie, Jeff. I am more partial to boxing because I've been a fan longer. And
Boxing it was my first love.
Yeah. So I am more of a fan of boxing, but I love MMA too. But
I could say that on like a subjective personal level, but I mean it's honestly like on an objective level it's not really a competition. You know what I mean? In terms of personal preference, the same as with D. I started on boxing. I mean, even way before I actually started watching boxing, I've been interested in it since I was a kid. I loved like Rocky and that kind of shit when I was young, and I had my family loved sports, but they were always watching football and basketball, and I got respect for those too. But I'm not about that shit. I was the nerdy kid. Like I was the one that never played sports, didn't watch any sports. Then all of a sudden I see Provodnikov Bradley, and I'm like, I'm in it. I'm in it. If anybody listening has not seen that fight, it's up for free on YouTube, HBO Boxing. Look that shit up. Provodnikov Bradley. It was Rock'em Sock'em fucking robots.
That's a nice fight there. Bro, we used to have backyard boxing matches, right?
I boxed for Pal.
So I'm gonna tell y'all something. Now our hands won't wrap and all of that because it was just backyard family fucking around. But check it out, man. I've been hit with boxing gloves sometimes that, bro, it's like way more effective than getting punched in the face. Like I've been punched in the face.
Your brain, right?
Yeah, bro. Like, cause it covers so much area on your face where a knuckle might hit your chin or something, and it might. Sure, I've been hit with a boxing glove that dazed me way more than just a bare knuckle punch. Like, right? I'm telling you, man, people underestimate. They think because these guys got boxing gloves on that You know,
and yeah, we got the 4-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? That's different. No.
Like, MMA glove or boxing glove, but specifically boxing gloves. They think, oh, well, they got pad and they got all of this comfort. No. That shit fucking hurts. If you don't know, get hit by a boxing glove, especially when guys' hands are wrapped, and you fucking sit there and talk to me about some padding. Because you'll fucking get hit by those boxing gloves, and you don't think it's no fucking padding in there. You think they got a brick or something behind that fucking behind that leather. So I think people totally underestimate the amount of damage that's coming when guys are getting hit with these boxing gloves.
Indeed, that's because of literally it's 12 ounces or more, plus the the tape and all that stuff. So you're looking at 13, 14 ounces hint. You know, I mean, it's almost a pound extra on your body.
It's adding weight and momentum to the punch. Because like if something is heavier coming at you, like you throw a piece of cotton at somebody and then you throw a rock the same size. See which one hurts more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it ain't like those gloves are pillows.
Fuck no. Those gloves, that shit's they're stiff, man. They're stiff. Those boxing gloves hurt. I'm telling you. And we used to box with no fucking hand wraps. Imagine with those hands being wrapped and all of that tape up under those gloves. That means it hurts more. It hurts even more, fam.
100%. It's why it's been proven that boxing it causes more CTE, more brain damage because the glove is heavier. And it's all stand up. It's all boxing. It's all, you know what I mean?
And their skill is on how to throw a punch. That's why a lot of MMA fighters that are known strikers, who do they go train with? They go train with boxers because they know boxing coaches or ex-boxers because they know the best guy that can teach them how to throw the best punch is a boxer, right? Because that's all they use is their fucking hands. You know, a right hook from a boxer, trust and believe. Even if he has less power than that MMA fighter, I think a right hook from a boxer is going to hurt you a little more than a right hook from an MMA fighter because they got technique with it. They turn their hips right. Like they're trained to throw a technical punch. And it hurts, man.
Yeah, great boxers in MMA. You really do. But it's not they're not boxers. You know what I mean? They don't just because they have to train everything. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing.
I always tell the story of Manny Pacquiao and Anderson Silva. When people start talking to strikers, and Anderson Silva, by far, I don't think most people will argue with this, is one of the best strikers in MMA history. He is, right?
He was, until he got knocked out last night.
Yeah, I saw that last night, man. That was rough.
I was on Silva too, just a dog shot. That was one of the other bets I lost last night.
Anderson Silva was way taller than Manny Pacquiao, way bigger than Manny Pacquiao, and he sparred with him for 3 rounds. Anderson Silva himself.
Oh, you're right.
He wasn't joking. He said, Manny Pacquiao beat me up all 3 rounds. The guy that was asking him the question, he was like, oh, no, get out here. You're the spider. And he said, no. He said, no. He beat me up all 3 rounds. I'm not ashamed of it. That's what Anderson Silva said. Because this is a boxer, fam. And you're not talking about just some average striker from the MMA. Anderson Silva had hands, but Manny Pacquiao beat him up. Little old Manny Pacquiao. Come on, man. Boxers are dangerous. This is what they do. They box, man.
Right. And it's the same the opposite way, too. I can say that even as a pugilist fan. Like, that's why you didn't see fucking Floyd try to go opposite and fight Connor in the square circle, or not square circle, you know what I'm saying, in the MMA, in the octagon. That's why you didn't see him get an octagon, because it's the same way, the opposite way. A boxer's been so trained to focus on just those hands, he's not even going to be paying attention like he's supposed to all the rest. Like that's kind of the reason why I prefer boxing in a way, is because I actually appreciate the personally, like on a personal level, I appreciate the more limited opportunities for attack, because it makes them get more fucking crazy with what they're trying to do with their hands. Not that the MMA fighters aren't as well, but they've got so many different avenues of attack on the ground, their legs, their shins, their feet, that they can just do all kinds of different crazy shit. With them boxers, it's just them hands.
Yeah, but I reverse that. All they do is worry about footwork and hands.
So here's my problem with the MMA.
Go ahead, Nick.
there's footwork and hands, right? You know what I mean, and all that stuff, but then you have to worry about footwork and hands, and then wrestling, jiu-jitsu,
Exactly.
Right.
and just
Leg
maybe
kick,
kickboxing. You know what I mean?
like boxers need their lead leg, right? You
Yep.
got those leg kicks to take out the lead leg. But I'll give you an example here. Stipe Miocic, Alexander Usyk. In a boxing ring, Alexander Usyk would box circles around Stipe Miocic.
Exactly.
Knock him out. And the octagon, Stipe Miocic will fuck Alexander Usyk up.
Yep.
And
see, the issue for me,
probably quicker.
It's really. It used to be for me. Martial arts was about mastery, right? And MMA, like what it used to be, was masters of other arts and disciplines coming together to see whose was superior. And now it's actually morphed into a guys who are really high, like proficient, but aren't masters of anything, right? They just do a bunch of things really well. Whereas boxing, you still have people who are able to master a craft, right? And actually compete at a high level, mastering a craft. Where I don't really see, I think that's what's lost in MMA today.
Well, I can somewhat disagree with that. I mean, agree with that, Smoke, but then somewhat disagree with that, because there are some guys that master, like they'll master grappling. Say like a Damian Maia. Damian Maia, he mastered grappling, right? But he did pick up the skill of, Randy Couture mastered wrestling, right? So you got these guys that master
Greco-Roman, Greco.
But they pick up other, so there are masters in the UFC too.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. It used to be a lot more. It used to be way more. Now it's just like a few guys here and there, and really most of the sport, like even Damian Maia, like the way that he needs to express his artistry, like it's not over 5 minutes in a cage, right? He needs way more time and way more space, right? It's just
my perception of it as an outside viewer, as a layman who's not the most well-versed in MMA and all that, is not that they're not masters of the game now. It's that the game they play has changed, in that they're masters of the mixed, quote-unquote, mixed martial arts. Like, they've jack of all trades. Yeah, they're not a master of any of them individually, but they're a master of mixed martial arts. That's my perception, at least.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
I want to sit, shower, and eat. So I need some closing thoughts. My man Boston Nick, give me some closing thoughts.
Great stream tonight. Loved it. A lot of great points and whatnot. Like I said, boxing my first love, but MMA right now, that's my shit. But if you guys want to come to Pub Sports Radio also, have some fun during the fights and football games, please do. Pub
Drop
Sports
the link
Radio.
one more time before you go, Nick. Drop that link in the chat one more time.
I will.
All right. Mr. Neo. What's up, Mr. Neo? Give me some closing thoughts, brother.
Oh, man, it was a good stream. Like I said, you guys are going to get tired of seeing my ass. I got to tell you, though, earlier, man, a little bit of personal information about me. I'm mixed, and I kind of grew up a little bit more on the lighter side of the tracks, but that shit earlier brought the blackout in me, dude. When Byron came in here, I was like, whoo, shit.
Well, let me tell you something about Myron Magnus. He does that intentionally.
Yeah, he does.
He's a gaslighter.
Yeah, exactly. He comes in to get it, things going. But I'm gonna tell you something else too, Neo. The next man is getting ready to give his closing thoughts. He's a firecracker himself. He was calm today, but get this smoke. One of my favorite panelists. Give me some closing thoughts, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a long time. I'm glad to step back and see you still cracking. It was definitely a good stream and a good. It's been a good, post-COVID run of fights, all the way up until last night. We're winding up the end of the year. Everybody be safe. Vote and all that stuff. It's about to be a rough winter. But batten down and hug your loved ones tight. Hopefully I'll see you soon, and it won't be so long till we speak again.
No doubt. Appreciate all you guys coming on, chilling, listening to DJ yak on and on, like I always say. But I'm going to end it with this. I'm not going to say Tank Davis. What I'm going to say is Deontay Wilder and Floyd Mayweather. You idiots. And that's how I'm going to end it. For the love of sport, Let's talk about it. Peace.